the whole time. I don't know why I weren't.
Forgot about the Patreon members.
I did. I was just gonna go straight into like show mic. Robo, you do whatever you need. You gonna go grab some stuff? We got time.
Oh, it's right there. If it comes down to it, I can just walk over and grab it.
I guess. No, we usually have like a 10 or 15-minute time. That's not part of the audio podcast. That's just for our Patreon people, where we discuss just more personal things that our Patreon people care about. That some random, person on podcast.
A little warm up.
Yeah,
so this is where you can spill all the drama with the Fwoosh and you said you told us you had a big breakup with them before we went live.
Oh, now you're spreading rumors. I don't like that.
Is this some of that gotcha journalism?
Gotcha. Yeah, we got Kirby, we got Ethan hanging out right now. If you're watching this, guys, say hi to Robo.
Hello.
Robo's here.
Yeah, I told Robo that it's kind of like meeting an uncle that I've never met because I've practically watched his Black Series reviews ever, like as far back as I can remember. So,
and it's so crazy to hear that sometimes. Yeah. It's just like, I never expected it to get far enough to people come up to me. Even, and I know this is going to sound, but even hometown, it's like, I never expected local people to recognize me at the game store or something, and I thought
I got stopped at the action figure aisle at Target like a month ago, and I'm like, it's weird that you know who I am.
Yeah, see, one time it was a Target in Texas I was at, and somebody walked up and it was like, I'm so and so. I'm usually a butthole in the comment section, but I'm not like that in real life. And I thought,
wow, very, very self-aware.
yeah, he knows. But
yeah, it was it WonderCon last year? Dan Larson and I were hanging out, walking around because he's not from the area and I am, so I took him to like some of the stores around when he had some downtime and whatnot. And we were constantly getting stopped, like, "Oh, I love your channel," and he'd look at me like, "I think they're talking to you." And it's like, "Yeah, right." Yeah, right.
Larson's even more recognizable.
Yeah, well, he's got that face.
Yeah,
well, now
he does.
He was on the Pulse stream or whatever it was called.
That's also true. Yeah.
And half the action figures are based on him.
I know. It's so funny. Like maybe like 2 or 3 times a month, we'll have some kind of picture back and forth. Like, "Hey, it's you. Hey, it's you."
And I think some of the sculptors hate it whenever you do that.
Was it Paul Harding? Oh, absolutely. He's like, "I never once have I ever."
He posted a picture of his Joe Fixit from the 2-pack, the tuxedo Wolverine, and I tweeted, "Hey, is that Dan Larson?" And I took it back off real quick before he could see it.
Should have kept it.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has a very generic white guy face. Beard, no beard. He just has one of those faces. It's just how it is. I mean, what's funny though, ironically, is his selfie series looks absolutely nothing like him.
No. How does
it looks like Mark or is it the guy from the Star Wars team? Eric. It looks like Eric.
The tall guy.
It looks like Eric. Yep. It doesn't look like Dan at all. It's so weird.
That Mr. Fantastic looks more like Dan than his selfie series.
Exactly. It's so weird.
Yeah, he should just do a head swap. Might be more accurate.
Did you go for a selfie series 2.0?
No, I decided to pass. I've got a couple of customs and sculpts people have sent me and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to talk about it. I tried to avoid talking about selfie series for the most part.
That's the problem. I should make it. I've got both of them. One of them looks awful. The new one looks pretty good, and I should do a video on it. But like, why? No one can buy one.
Yeah.
It's like,
what's even the point?
It's so weird how fast they dropped it.
Yeah,
I didn't get my selfie series. I didn't even get one before they canceled it.
When they announced it, I was like, "Oh man, that's quite the undertaking of." I guess they were doing 3D prints, or they had their own. I don't even know how it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they couldn't be making, molds for each of them. That would have been way too much. So it had to have been like a resin print, some type.
Yeah.
With
I put mine on my Obi-Wan head here.
I like it.
I don't know why it's not. There we go. It looks like
that's about the extent of a beard they could do, though, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest beard they had. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have mine your length, and it got too much. When I laid down on my stomach, it'd go in your face. And the glasses are not removable. By the way, this is Adam Priest. He is, I believe, he's responsible for getting us ours, and I think you yours for the 3D cubic 3D prints.
Oh, really?
So he's one of the people that I let in. Yeah, absolutely.
Now I need to. Now I need Balin and to actually these.
I actually last night after playing with them, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go all in. I'm going to spend whatever amount of money I need to make these look good. So I bought the replacement thighs or the figures for the replacement thighs I need. I went on Josh's custom capes or whatever, and he's got like a 2-pack with the robes for both of them. And I'm gonna have a good looking Shin and Balin, and I'll just stop. That's it. I'm just gonna do it.
It sucks that we even have to do that, though.
It does. I've spent more than the figures cost to make the figures look like they should, and it just.
In perfect world, Balin's head would be bigger too, right? I mean, is that kind of okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with it. I don't know what was happening there. All right,
Robo, my joke was they made it 6 inch, or they made it 6 inches, not 6 inch scale.
That's right.
They're both the same height. Yeah, it's exactly what they did. All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's drop out. Thanks, Patreon people. Thank you for being Patreon people. Thank you for supporting us. We always say the same things, but I don't want it to sound like we're just going through the motions of thank you. Like, we're really, seriously, very happy.
Very thankful.
Yeah.
And I did want to shout out, we have 2 new VIP members. Right. So on our upcoming VIP hangout, we'll have 2 new faces, which will be great. I'm sure it'll be a good time. So,
Paragon Fuzz is one of them. Our favorite British boy is here. He's the best British boy.
Yep. And so that should be a good time. And I think the person's name is Pletho. At least that's what their account name is. So I don't know. Yeah. They'll have to hop in here in the chat one day.
As far as I'm concerned, that's their God-given Christian name, Pletho. Until they tell me otherwise. That's right.
Until they hop in the chat and tell us otherwise, then
they're Pletho.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna kick you out for a bit, and then we'll bring you back in. Probably like a couple minutes. It won't be long, but I'll wait and see you sitting down. I'm not gonna bring you on to an empty void.
I won't be gone long.
Okay. Alrighty. Zach, are you excited for today's show?
I am thrilled for today's episode. We've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah. I think this is probably, for me, my number, and I don't want him to take this the wrong way, my number 2 guest for people I've talked to try to get on the show. And the only reason he's number 2 is because number 1 is Carson Teva. Yeah. I mean, come on. The guy's been on a Star Wars.
That's one that we hope to have one day. Yeah. We've got no verbal, well, maybe not a verbal commitment, but a type commitment.
Yeah. Right? We got a tentative commitment, like saying yeah. But anyways,
so hopefully
that's not who we have. Don't get your hopes up. Carson Teva not joining us today, but who we do have is my favorite Southern gentleman, the toy collector from your Meemaw's house. I don't know. The guy that you probably watched more than weekly for years on the channel The Fwoosh, now starring in his own brand new, it's about a year old, but relatively speaking, brand new YouTube channel, Robo. But we're going to get into Robo real quick. But before we do that, I just wanted to, again, thank all the people that are supporting us on Patreon. And we if you're listening to our last episode, we did get 2 spots open on VIP. Unfortunately, we're not advertising it because it got filled. It got filled super quick, way
So
quicker
fast.
than I thought. So fast. I honestly thought that it would be like weeks before someone would fill those spots. I'm gonna keep talking about it, but it was like a couple days, and then boom, filled. So
that either tells us the demand is high for people who want to hang out with us in the VIP chats. Yep. So do we open more in a couple months, or do we just increase the price? Because
let's give it time. Yeah, let's give it time. But so if you want to hang out on our Patreon, you can watch this. You can join us live depending on what tier you're on. Head over to our Patreon. And again, we talk about this at the start of every episode because we don't take ads. We've been approached to do ads. We're not selling out just yet. So for now,
not yet.
We're supported 100% by the people supporting us on Patreon, and we're very thankful. But yeah, you want to get Robo on?
I absolutely want to get Robo on. I'm itching to talk to him.
Yeah, I guess we can get Robo on. Hi, Robo.
Hello. It's funny you say Meemaw's house because that's what my kids called my wife's mom.
Oh, really?
Meemaw.
That's
yeah,
funny.
and the house was right across the street.
So I had a nanny, but when my brother had kids, they couldn't say nanny, and she was their great grandma, so they called her Gigi, and then everyone started calling her Gigi, and I feel like my whole life had just turned into a lie. Like I grew up calling my grandma Nanny. Everyone called her her Nanny.
Yeah.
Suddenly everyone started calling her Gigi, and I was like, no, I refuse.
Doesn't sound right.
Nope.
That's not
Kids
sound
get
right.
priority though.
I know.
If the youngest ones do it, then everybody's going to do it.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for being on our show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. Coming on, talking about toys, get on the internet, talk about stuff. What?
It's like you never do
What am I
that.
doing?
Yeah. It's like your whole day.
It must be new to him.
This camera thing, it's all new and different.
Every time we have a guest on, I always just double check that they have like a decent setup, like some kind
I don't think we have to worry on this one.
No, it's like we don't have to worry with Robo. Robo's good.
No, this is my life right here.
Yeah.
In these walls.
Yeah.
There's like 3 people in the world that like it could sound awful and I'd be fine with it. Robo's one of them coming on.
Well, since moving out to this new space that I have out here, I'm dealing with echo. So it's like, different microphone, padding. I need to move this over here. I need to do this. And I've been fighting it. But I think that it's just me. I can hear that slight echo in the very
You've
back.
raised your own standards too high. No one else can hear it. Nobody will care that much, but you do.
Yeah, I put the headphones on, everything else, and it's like I'm tweaking. But I think I'm happy now, as of yesterday.
Okay,
What?
We just snuck right in there. That's good.
Well,
Debut.
so for the one individual out there that's listening to this podcast that does not know who you are, would you please introduce it? Because I know there's probably a small handful that might not have watch too much YouTube videos. So just please introduce yourself. I know you don't necessarily need an introduction, but I feel like it's probably the best thing to do.
I did this at a small con in here in Arkansas several years. It was before 19. It was before shutdown, and I was up on a stage with a bunch of people that were also guests, and I was sitting beside a guy that explained the psychology of Batman and his villains and everything and all that. And it got to me, and this is how I usually introduce myself. It's like, I'm Robo. I play with toys on the internet. That's it. And
that's it.
Went, and the guy next to me goes, "Hey, how do I get a job like that?" I was like, "Okay."
Just start recording yourself playing with toys on the internet. That's it.
Yeah, you just start doing it and go from there. Just keep playing for years. But no, I do action figure reviews and news on YouTube, and I've done that for I think this is 10 years this year, even though I don't kind of count the first few years. They were kind of terrible. But
those are the building blocks, though.
that's right. Because I knew I was short end of the stick, really. It was like when I was with Fwoosh, we had been a website for, at that point, for 12 years.
You were mostly like news articles. That's when I started with the Fwoosh, was reading news articles and looking at pictures. Yeah.
And we started as just a forum. We just wanted a place to talk toys. We would raid the Raving Toy Maniac chat room and then go to our forums to talk toys. But then when we found out you could get press passes to San Diego Comic-Con, it was like, hey, we should
there you go.
We already have the domain. We already pay for the space. Why not make a front page with news and stuff? And in those days, you could just walk up to San Diego Comic-Con front desk and, hey, and they would hand you a stack of passes. Here you go.
Don't even get me started. I've lived in San Diego since 1995. I remember the days, like on Saturday, you could walk up and buy a pass for Saturday. Wasn't a big deal. Yeah.
People don't understand that anymore. I mean, if you've only gone in the past few years, it's like a nightmare.
Yeah. But tickets are already sold out, and like it doesn't happen until July. Like tickets sold out the day they went up, back in like either beginning of this month or end of last month or something. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah,
because you're in San Diego and run into people that live in San Diego, and they're like, I don't know, I can't go. So,
it's almost not even worth it, honestly. Like, I went. I usually do go down. I don't pay to get in, but like I'll be around in the city on that day because there's still a lot of stuff going on outside, and like I'll run into people, and that's kind of fun. It's fun just being in the area, but being in the building is exhausting. It's just so packed. Not enough deodorant going around. It's just,
the penguin walk just kills your leg.
Oh yeah, just absolutely
squeezing through.
Yeah. You're prom dancing.
Yep.
What year was it that SDCC became really mainstream? When was kind of the uptick?
2008.
See, my first was 05 or 04 or 05.
Yeah.
I think it was 05. And then you could go out on balconies. You can go in any doors. You could do whatever. And then the yelling guard started about that time.
Yep. Yeah, it was two things. It was Twilight and it was the MCU starting up that year.
Yep.
And that's what just caused it to go nuts, because all the girls were flocking in because Twilight had a panel there or whatever, and they wanted to see Edward Cullen or whatever. And then all the guys wanted to be there because Iron Man was going to be there or whatever. And it was a whole thing. And then like the year or two after that, it got bigger and bigger because they had like Walking Dead stuff, and like TV and movies became more of a thing versus like comics. And it became more of a multimedia current. Let's promote our current big thing versus let's have fun, talk about comics and nerd stuff.
Just like a pop culture event now.
Yes.
Rather than more focused. Yeah.
It's still fun. I still enjoy it.
It's still, yeah.
But if you're inside and you're trying to talk to people that you only see once a year, it's like it's miserable. You're just trying to have a conversation and it's not happening. And
well, and heaven help you if you want to go to like Hall H and be at a panel, because you have to get in line like a day before.
I've never been.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. It was like the line is always super long, and there's no guarantee you'll even get in because there's only so many people that can, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we do. We have a podcast. We talk about toys, and we just bitch about Comic-Con.
About Comic-Con.
That's what we do.
But that was the big thing, when I first told my parents, I was, hey, I'm going to go to San Diego on a bus and hang out with people I've only met on the internet. And in 2005, it's like, what are you?
It was a much bigger deal back then because that was before YouTube. That was very early in the internet days. We barely had MySpace. It was mostly forums. And I would hang out, like I remember I would spend my days hanging out on the rebelscum.com forums, the force.net forums. Like those were the big sites back in the day. What was the? Oh goodness, there was another website. He had he has a big collection up in Gus Lopez, like had just a huge Star Wars collection. It was basically just websites that people would congregate to. Yeah. And you had these weird little communities and everyone was super close because like there weren't a lot of us. And believe it or not, Star Wars wasn't cool.
No,
it
had
just
our little
wasn't.
hidey holes.
That's right. We were like cockroaches.
Yeah, I was on the Forgotten Force listserv. And I think that started just emails back and forth of people sharing pictures. Back in the day, taking pictures, laying the figures on a scanner.
On a scanner, yeah. There weren't like digital cameras really, or if they were, they had the big floppy disks that went in there to like. It was terrible, yeah.
Wait, you're telling me you all grew up without the ability just to open your phone and go on Instagram and
no,
the entire community real fast?
Correct.
I'd load a page, go make a sandwich, come back, hope the picture loads.
Oh my goodness, I forgot what dial-up speeds were like. It was nuts. Like waiting a good couple minutes for a website to load, and it wouldn't. It was just text. Like maybe some animated GIFs, maybe like.
And then I didn't get high-speed internet until way later, way after everybody else. I was still uploading at McDonald's in. What was it, 2018, 19? So I didn't get high speed until end of 19 sometime.
Oh, wow.
So
I thought you were joking. Are you serious?
No, I was running like, oh man, it was miserable, AT&T, and they charged by the usage.
Oh man.
Yeah. So finally my electric company got fiber in, and that was.
Look at that. Let's see. This is just one of those things. People that, if you ever wanted to start anything like doing news, doing figure reviews, you don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to have the best stuff. Robo here uploading at McDonald's. Other than a couple of videos, exclusively just use whatever phone I have at the time. I don't have a dedicated camera. Why would I? My phone works fine. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You can just use what you got.
Plus, it makes it unique. It makes it different. And that's what everybody's looking for, is something unique to watch or look at or see.
That is true.
I was actually going to bring that up. You said, the first couple of years was rough and you don't count those. And I know, like, every time there's like a new generation of reviewers, like now we've got people like our friends Out of the Basement, Lance Peter Luke, Lukeness Monster, like they're building off of like the kind of the people that came before them, like you, me, and then we're building off. I guess you wouldn't really be building off anyone. You're kind of the OG.
Well,
but
Robo created this.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember. When I started, like I knew who I liked. Like I followed Glenn Webb, and I'm like, okay, I like it when he does this. I like it when this guy does that, and I kind of took a little bit of everything and decided how I wanted mine to be based on what I liked from seeing other people's stuff. So I'd have to figure that out and make 20 or 30 videos where I was trying different stuff, trying to figure it out. I just kind of already knew because I saw what worked from other people's videos.
Right. While trying to get your own flavor in there and finding your own flavor and getting up the guts to put it out there for everybody is the biggest speed bump, because there was Shartimus and there was all kinds of reviewers that I was watching. And that's why we finally decided, as a site, we need video. We need to get out there, because that's the next step. So
it paid off.
I was small town. So yeah. I don't know. I didn't want to do it.
It did. Come on.
It did.
No, I did not want to do it at all. So I watched, and like you said, I picked and chose.
Yep.
And I tried to hide the accent and didn't want to get too excited, because people just wanted to see the toys, They just wanted to, that's all they're there for, is to look at toys. And then a couple years in, I was like, you know what? That's not me. This is me. And that's all I can say when people go, do you have any advice or, any tips? Just be yourself. That's
Just be yourself. Absolutely. Just be
100%.
yourself.
Yeah, I feel like at
come
first people
to watch. Yeah, they come to watch you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. People probably start on a channel because they want to see about the toys and they want to hear people talk about Star Wars. But at this point, I'll just watch people that I like because I just want to hear them talk about stuff that I like. But it's them talking about it, like Out of the Basement. They could do an episode. They don't even talk about Star Wars, but we're great buddies with them. So I'm just going to watch them no matter what they talk about.
them going shows and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I mentioned Glenn Webb earlier, rest in peace, but he I was at the point where I was watching his stuff. I don't care about wrestling at all, but if he made a wrestling video, I'd watch it because I just liked listening to him talk about toys. I didn't really care what he said. It was just kind of neat being part of it. And kind of like what you were saying earlier, when people came up to you at like conventions where they already know you because they're watching stuff, you don't know them. It's the same situation. Like everyone starts off that way with people. Like, I mean, when I met you at Celebration, like I knew who you were. I didn't know if you knew who I was, but like it's hard not to know. Yeah. But I don't know that. We never talked, so I don't want to come up and be like, oh yeah, hey, it's my case or whatever. So it's like it's just like one of those things. Like it was cool to just talk to you and get to know you as like not the guy that's talking to me on YouTube. But it is hard to separate that when all I've ever heard from you is you talking about toys on YouTube.
Yeah. And that became my favorite thing, was just talking to people. In fact, I had a buddy I used to help at cons. He's got a booth. He sells merchandise and stuff. And I would help him set up and then, watch the booth and everything. And I got to where I was useless because I would just stand outside in the aisle talking to people the whole time. Well, you saw me at Celebration. I was useless.
I did.
It was that booth. But that's what I like to do, is stand there and talk. And that's what I missed. Over those couple of years. That's after 3 years of not going to a show, it was just I couldn't take it anymore.
It was nice just to talk to people, for sure. Yeah. So for the people that don't know, Robo has a new channel. It's been around for a year, because I remember I'm like, I've seen him post stuff. Yeah. But that's where, if you've been wondering where things are or what's going on, Robo Don't Know. Where did that name come from? Because
they came to, oh man, being on the internet for
fair enough. Yeah,
more than because doing the news, which I hate to call it news anymore, because people expect you to cover everything.
Everything.
Hey, this news
weekly.
Not only cover everything, but you have to be knowledgeable about everything too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. So it became kind of a, because I would talk about something. I was like, well, I don't really know about this, but here's this, this, and this. And then I would get people just, oh, well, why are you talking about it if you don't know? Or schooling me in a big paragraph of, and calling me an idiot. So it became kind of a buffer zone of, hey, I don't know this. Robo Don't Know. It became a joke of, which softened the blow a lot for a lot of people, because it was like, oh, well, he's just talking about toys. And it kind of came back around full circle, because that's what I was doing in the first place, was just talking about the toys.
Talking about
I don't know Warhammer or Dragon Ball or, but if I see an interesting toy, I'm going to talk about it, or something catches my eye. Or if I don't talk about something, I'm not interested at all. So Robo Don't Know has kept many actually at bay.
Actually.
Yeah. Which I get it. If you're a super fan of something, you want to get it. You want.
I can't wait to just go. Actually, your comments on all these Black Series figures going forward.
or you stumble about something, but yeah, it became, and people would say that at shows and stuff. If it wasn't Fwoosh, it was, hey, Robo Don't Know. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't.
But I respect that, because at some level, when we were kids, we bought toys just because they were cool. Like when Toy Biz started doing X-Men stuff, like I'd seen the cartoon, But they were doing characters that never been in the cartoon before. I don't know who any of these people are, and I was buying some of them just because I thought they looked cool. I didn't know who they were, and I didn't know what they were. But this guy's got magnet powers. Sure, well, I guess Magneto's actually pretty well known, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you don't. When you were kids, you were buying things maybe because you saw them on TV, but also because that just looks cool.
Now,
Why can't you just appreciate a toy because it looks cool?
was it Cruel in that line with the big long ponytail with the skull at the end?
Yes.
Nobody knew who
Nobody.
Cruel was.
No. Why did they even make him? Yeah.
But that was the cool thing about that line was all those lesser known. Because I'll say that out loud, and of course there'll be a comment of, "Hey, Cruel was my favorite character in the '90s."
Awesome, man! I'm so happy for you.
And I didn't mean it like that. I just meant that. Boy, that's a deep dive. So. But going back to the 80s, my childhood was everything was marketed to sell toys. So
sure, it's true.
That's just how I was.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, toys. Let's put Ewoks.
There wasn't really a toy line in the 80s that didn't have a cartoon attached to it. Jason, Warriors, Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, whatever.
Was RoboCop later?
RoboCop, Cops. Was it the fighting crime in a future time? Rambo, Chuck Norris. Yeah.
How? Why?
It was really weird how many rated R movies had toys, like kid-centric toy lines. It was really weird.
The 80s.
But it was also normal. Like I remember getting Terminator 2 action figures. I thought they were awesome. And I knew I couldn't watch the movie, but like I never thought about it. I was just like, oh, cool, I got the Terminator. And it wasn't weird to me then because I just wanted a cool toy.
Yeah. That's just, and that's what it comes down to. Cool toys.
Yeah.
I'll look at anything if it's cool looking, or if it tickles my fancy. I've tried to get a little bit more focused, but it's hard these days because of everything coming out.
It's almost too much. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. But before we do, I want to talk about any recent pickups. Pickups? I don't know where that accent came from. I want to talk about
that streaming service.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know what happened. My voice.
You could have
Just
avoided
decided
the
to
whole
go to
thing.
country. Yeah.
You could have avoided the whole thing by just calling it Fine Editions.
You're right. My bad.
What it is.
Fine editions.
Come on. That's a fine edition.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot. I
just have a couple
basically
things. 3, I think.
the same thing. Probably one of the things that Robo has, but that's all.
Are you going first, Mike?
We'll go with me first. So first I got a thing in my PO box from a long time subscriber, and he actually sent this to me back in December, and it was there so long I'm surprised they hadn't mailed it back, but my box was still there. Murray, if you're listening to this, thank you. He sent me the Super 7 Optimus Prime. This is a figure I've almost bought like 100 times, and the price always just kind of kept me away. I watched like Toy Bros review on it, and it just didn't seem like something I'd want to spend $50 on. But getting it for free sure does make me glad I didn't spend. I'm glad I didn't spend money on it. This is such a weird toy. It's like, I don't know. Brian Flynn not listening to this podcast. I know that for a fact. But if he is, Brian, buddy, why did you give him a matrix of leadership, but no chest to open? He can't put it inside him. He just has it. Why? Just so weird. Why are his little gas tank things? They're just like a weird. Why?
No, I think is that cartoon accurate? The gas tank thing.
Maybe it might be. I don't know.
No, I'm not making excuses.
It might be. It's weird that it's just the same color as his legs, and there's Listen,
elbows.
Murray, I'm not poo-pooing this. Thank you so much. He's gonna go on my Optimus Prime shelf, which is right here. If you're watching, it's right here, and he's gonna look great on my Optimus Prime shelf. I'm so happy to have him. But man, am I glad that I didn't spend $55 on that toy, because I do not get the appeal of that at all. That's it. On top of that, I did get another PO box same day. Got both of them. I got a little package from my friend Adam Priest, and it's Adum Customs on Instagram, and then also from Cubic 3D Prints here. And again, we'll have a link in the information section if you're listening to this at home. If you're watching, you can see the stuff. But he 3D prints lightsaber blades for the Black Series and other stuff too. But one of the big issues with the Black Series is shelf dives tend to lead to broken lightsabers. I've had a bunch. I've had at least 5 or 6. And on top of that, he's using it as a way to kind of fix some issues. So the first thing that I got is Balin and Shin now have properly orange colored lightsabers like they should instead of the red ones. Also, Balin's is at least a half an inch shorter, which doesn't sound like a lot, but man, does it make all the difference in the world for what isn't there, because it was too long. It was like weirdly long. He also sent me this sweet, sexy purple blade for my Star Killer, because purple is my favorite color, and I just like that. You let me choose whatever color I wanted. I chose purple, but my favorite by far is Plo Koon here. I got this sweet yellow lightsaber because I played the absolute pants off of Jedi Power Battles back in the year 2000, and in that you could play as Plo Koon, and Plo Koon had a yellow lightsaber. And
nice,
that's how I always remember Plo Koon, as being the slowest and hardest character to play as in that game, but he had a yellow lightsaber. So I was really happy to get that. And then he also sent I'm going to say us, because Zach also got stuff. He doesn't have it yet. But we got these really sweet little holocrons, a Sith and a Jedi one. And I've got my Doc Ondar there holding them. They're going to go right on Doc Ondar's shelf. So thank you so much to Cubic 3D Prints. Might sound a little bit like an advertisement, but you know what? It is, because he sent these to me for free. Yep. You know what? I don't even care. He sent them to me for free. But it's a legit need, I think, that people have. Like, I wouldn't just do this if I didn't think it wasn't good, and I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it would be useful to a lot of people, because I know I'm not the only person who has experienced lightsaber breakage. It's a severe issue in the line, so it's nice to have some of these replacements.
Yeah, my Clone Wars Darth Maul lightsaber.
Yeah,
I think that one bent. I have the fifth brother, that is named from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. His lightsaber is that's one they made the plugins really thin for no reason.
Yep.
So that one broke for me. Well, I don't think it's broke, but it's to the point where I can't, like, if I try to take it off and replug it in, it's done. Yeah.
So that's what I got. That's my pickups. Again, thanks to Adum Customs. I think it's Adum_Customs. If you want to follow him on Instagram, and also Cubic 3D Prints on Instagram. Check him out. Etsy shop. Yeah. That's where you can buy stuff.
Big
I 100% think that this is worth it.
I'll start with my fine additions. I got the Super Saiyan 3 Goku SH Figuarts in the mail the other day.
Nerd.
Big time nerd. But they're so good. These figures are so good. I'm obsessed with them right now. The quality of them is just amazing. SH Figuarts goes so hard on Dragon Ball. I just wish some of their Star Wars ones were as good.
It's
But
weird.
I guess it's easier with the animated faces rather than trying to do.
I feel like Robo has thoughts on that.
No. No thoughts. No thoughts.
Jump in.
How do you get worse at making figures? I don't know. They started so good.
Yeah, I think what's that? Diamond Collectibles. I think they're kind of that way too.
Oh yeah.
But I will gladly use those sabers because I picked up Balin's skull today. I probably would not have bought this if it weren't for getting that saber mailed to me, which is great.
Yep.
And I got Shin Hati last episode. I am gonna order a Riva. So is that all I need? All I need is a Riva for this.
You need Riva for Balin, and there's a couple different shorter legged figures you can use for Shin if you want to make her shorter. But Balin being taller, weirdly enough, Riva's the way to go. I got mine on Big Bad Toy Store for like $13.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Are you gonna do the face thinning also?
Probably. I'm gonna listen. Last night, after playing around with that, I went a little crazy. I ordered Sabine Wren to be my legs for Shin Hati. I shipped my Riva from Big Bad Toy Store, and then I went on Josh's Custom Capes Etsy shop, and he has a 2-pack of robes for Shin and Balin. It was like $50. $50. The price of both figures just to get the robes. But I know his stuff is high quality. So when I get that, I'll have a better review on it. But yeah, last night I went a little crazy.
Thicker or thinner eyebrows?
How can you tell if you're just looking at the one?
Yeah,
There's another thing I got to look out for.
I don't have a reference to compare it to, but I mean, his eyebrows look normal to me. If anybody wants to say, do those look overly? They look fine. Those look good to me. I think.
Yeah, I can't.
They're a good solid thickness eyebrow. Like they don't look too big or too small. So that's how I'll answer that. I didn't know there was a difference.
I didn't know either.
Though.
Yeah, I know the running change on Sabine, which I'm hoping the one I get
lighter hair. Yeah,
the one I get from Amazon is the updated one, because the one I got originally is the worst one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then my last find for this episode.
Wait,
helmet shape. Helmet shape.
Oh,
and yeah.
And lighter purple hair. She has.
Yeah.
You might be able to tell. I haven't opened it yet, so it's probably hard. But her hair's a little lighter on the running chain.
Okay.
It's more of a colorful purple.
See, my first one, the print was off on the face, and the helmet just falls off. It didn't.
That's what mine's like. Yeah.
Okay. My second one was perfect. Goes on tight, covers the whole head.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the first one,
you might notice a hair color difference in that.
Gotcha.
And then my third fine edition, I just picked this up today, so I haven't opened them. The Tuscan Chieftain. This already looks like a figure I'm going to absolutely love. He looks
it's a good figure for sure.
I can tell he's really going to stand out on the shelf. So I'm really excited about that one.
It'll make you want to buy some more regular Tuscan Raiders, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the unique, like look at that necklace. That is so cool.
There is a lot more new on him than I really initially thought there would be after kind of going through it.
Now we need the warrior though, the female version, his lady friend. And then we need the kid. We need the child Tuscan because I like that character. That was cool. One of the few great parts about the Book of Boba Fett was the Tuscan tribe. But that's it for my fine edition. So let's pass the fine editions baton over to the guest of honor, Robo.
Where did you pick up your Balin before getting into?
Local comic shop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I heard they're hitting Walmarts, right? I've been trying to.
They are. I've seen them at Walmart.
Yeah. I was planning on going to. I just haven't been to a Walmart or like a big box store in a long time, other than Target, and they didn't have any there. So I knew they had them there, and I was kind of in that area, and I was like, I'm going to swing in, and then ended up spending $60, of course. So
isn't that how it goes?
That's how it goes.
Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah. I'm in my local Walmart daily, and it seems like they've been stuck in stasis for same toy all. I've gotten to where I can just look down the end of the aisle and go, nope, and then keep going.
You know, that's one of the great things about the Galaxy packaging is you don't even have to. I mean, you could always look at the numbers, but they're flatter, so it's a little harder to tell. But for
Yeah.
the new the Galaxy packaging, I know it's not new Galaxy packaging, but you can just look, see the character, move on. Don't gotta spend too much time on it because it's all slanted and angled.
You can just tilt your head a little bit and see all the way down the. Because I'm on the hunt down after you. No. I also got the Balin sabers.
Nice.
And Shin sabers from the Cubic 3D prints. So this makes me even. I was getting them anyway.
Yeah.
Right? But
yeah.
And I'm totally prepared to do all the fixes and everything that was in the plans. That'll make a good play day. Now I have even more reason to get on that, because I also have these that I can give to, because
the holocrons.
Was Celebration last year or year before?
Celebration that we were at was 2022, so the year before. Last year it was in London.
That's right. Well, that was my first year going to Disneyland or Disney in
2022. Yeah.
So these are kind of, like, ooh, I've seen those in person. Oh,
yeah.
So I'm excited. The Plo Koon saber, I'll have to come up with something for another Plo Koon. I think I've got another one somewhere.
Or you could give it to Rise of Skywalker Rey.
I do have her with a saber that I had a blade in. And y'all were talking about losing blades or breaking blades, and hers, she fell off one day and it just completely disappeared.
Having air.
She's been without for a year or two.
Because yellow is her color on her new saber at the end, so it works. Yeah.
And I did a Plo Koon custom. Was it the Clone Wars? Was it the cartoon where he had or concept of the two sabers? Yeah.
Oh, the two sabers. I want Landspeeder Luke, if you're listening to this, I was just talking with someone the other day about this. I need his gauntlet. I need a Black Series version of that two saber gauntlet because it's rad. It just is.
Was that actually in the cartoon, or was that concept?
No,
or something?
it's a concept. 100% just a concept. Yeah. But like every toy he had one. Every toy he had one. Yeah.
In fact, I bought that on eBay and took that and put larger blades on the thing and stuck it on the Black Series figure. But I don't. Well, okay. I don't know if you can count this. I got this a week or so back.
I'll count it. Oh, nice.
But this is my new. I wouldn't say obsession, but this is my new hot button item. This is about as nostalgic as it gets. I've done
specifically the cartoon He-Man.
Yes, the Filmation ones.
Yeah,
I haven't opened one up. People say it's a little bigger than Origins, but I don't know. I'm just now getting. I wanted to get the core crew which is He-Man.
Yep.
Which is Skeletor.
Yep.
That I got today with the Masks of Power. Beastman was high on my list. In fact, at San Diego, this was the one that I looked at and went, okay, I may have to drop Masterverse and jump on these, because while I like Masterverse, I'm not a hardcore He-Man collector. I was just buying them because of the characters. They're cool.
Sure.
Look, but Filmation, this is childhood.
Yep.
This is me this is my mom picking me up early from school to watch Masters of the Universe on a weekly basis.
Badass.
Yeah. And then this is the one I wanted most. This finishes up the 4 is Man at Arms that I got from Big Bad Toy Store.
Nice.
Now there's more coming, and I'm getting those too, but these 4, I wanted to get these before opening them up, just to have a yay nostalgia kind of party going on. Oh, but Mattel, you gotta work on your packaging glue.
Oh man, that's just falling right off. That bubble is not on there.
Because even bubble wrapped and everything else, it was like this.
Interesting.
Well, Big Bad, they know how to pack up.
Oh, sure.
In a box. Because when I got this from Amazon, this was up here.
Oh, geez.
It wasn't even glued. It was just.
So it's just an issue with the line, maybe.
The whole line.
What was the one? Was it a Short Round from the Indiana Jones one that was having the issues where they were like the bubbles are just falling off the cards in Target?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The vintage
Yeah.
Indiana Jones figures, like specifically the short round, like the bubbles were just falling off the cards.
I forgot about the vintage figures.
Must have been a factory issue or something for that.
They didn't get the note.
Yeah, they didn't get the note.
And then this I'm opening up next week, or well, this weekend is the Rosetta Wolf.
That has been on my list of things that like if I go, I don't know if I want it or not is my problem. It's so for the people listening, it's the Frank Franzetta concept or like artwork action figure, Fire and Ice. Like he's one of the most popular fantasy artists in the world. Who's doing the figures of that? What company is it?
It's Frazetta.
It's his own company.
Yeah, Frazetta Icon Collectibles.
Okay.
Bakshi Productions, which is the cartoon, and then Frazetta Girls is the.
Okay.
They're producing them themselves. They've got Eamon.
Oh, that's
He does a bunch of artwork for. He at his booth last year. He had one of these. It's insane the turnaround on this. Like they already had a lot of stuff ready before even announcing it, but I don't know a lot about Fire and Ice. But after messing with this figure at his booth, I was like, I got to get one. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's the same kind of thing we're talking about. Like, I don't know anything. There's no backstory to any of those as far as I was aware. It's just Frank had a lot of really cool artwork, and they're making toys out of how cool his artwork looked. And that's all I need to know.
I would see those. I would see those pictures back in the day, and rural Arkansas backwoods Bible Belt. It was always kind of like, oh, I'm not supposed to be looking.
That girl's barely clothed.
Yeah, my mom better not see me looking at this. But now it's like, oh, and that's what's back in the head. It shakes some cobwebs. It's like, oh, I do remember seeing this somewhere. It was the same with the Dragon or Dungeons and Dragons line. The War Duke.
Yep.
I didn't have a lot. I don't remember, but now I remember after getting the toy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, pretty neat. I think that's it though. I've been trying to be a bit more thrifty, a bit more picky and choosy lately.
Yeah.
Well, and that's something I definitely want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think a lot of collectors are choosing to go that route. I remember back in 2021, I felt like I could buy anything, like whatever, it's fine. I'll just buy it. Do I care? Do I only kind of want it? Yeah, why not? I'll buy it. And that caught up real fast, like just real fast.
It's like the past couple of years. Well, with the whole boom of everything, everybody, a lot of people jumping into the hobby and collecting and everything. Because they were at home doing nothing. Hey, I'm going to order stuff on the internet. I remember this. Click, 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 click.
I don't think people realized how many people picked up collecting toys as a hobby, like during the pandemic. But just, Landspeeder Luke got into Black Series because of the pandemic. Same thing with our other person that we've had, Frederick's Figures. Like it was, it's common. It's a common story from a lot of newer collectors
and myself. I mean, I've collected Black Series ever since the beginning, but I got out of collecting Black Series. But it was a perfect culmination of like I had bought a house right before the pandemic, so I had like space, better off financially, and then it was the face scanning, the photoreal on the figures, which actually took them to the next level. And I was like, okay, I think these are actually starting to be worth the price again, and it brought me back.
Well, somebody mentioned my custom head sculpts. I didn't get the selfie series because I already had some custom head sculpts sent to me. That was the first ones I remember. I think there was some before, but the big ones were Fan Plastic 4. And when he sent those during the pandemic, I was like, these are cool, and your other stuff is great. He was like, oh, thanks. I just started sculpting during shutdown. And I'm like,
yeah.
And now he's doing Mondo stuff and doing all these, cartoon figures and everything. And it's just how many people jumped in. And the numbers on YouTube showed that.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, we can't get out. We can't go to work and all that. And I was just like, oh, Keep
Yep.
watch
No,
YouTube.
that was all I did because I was fortunate enough. I worked for Apple at the time, and they were paying us to stay home.
Yeah.
And that's all I did was let's make more YouTube videos. What YouTube video can I make? And they all, I could not make a bad video in 2020. They would all hit 10, 15, 20, 30,000 because like that's what people were watching.
Yeah.
That was the cool thing to do. Yeah.
20 and 21 gave me a false sense of confidence.
Yes, 100% it did.
Yeah, and man, the numbers and just everything was rocking and rolling. And when the January hit, was it 22 or was it?
Yeah,
it was just like
it just stopped. It was like hitting a brick wall, and I went from getting, my like normal video would hit 10K. They started hitting like 3K and 4K.
Yeah.
And then sometimes less than that. I'm like, what happened? I'm not doing anything different.
Nope.
What's happening? It was so weird and disheartening. Like a couple times I'm like, I just don't want to make videos anymore because it's like I never made them for the views, but when you start getting them, it makes it feel different. And then when you lose them, it's like you lose a little bit of that validation. Mm-hmm. Which makes it harder to get motivated because it's a lot of work to make a video. Like this.
Yeah.
People think, you just they don't. Absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah, all the time and everything else. And it is making videos about action figures. I get that.
Sure.
A lot of people can say that. Oh, you're just playing with toys, but there's a lot that goes on into that process.
I only make TikTok videos, and it can be a challenge just motivating myself to even do it. Sometimes
I find those more challenging. Trying to condense down to a shorts or a TikTok. Mm-hmm. Well, I know on TikTok you can make longer form videos, but that aspect ratio and dealing with this, and I'm like, I've locked into my technique, and that's another reason for that this year is going to be a lot more trying different things. So, but you get used to something, and then suddenly, nope. Well, January's usually suck anyway.
It does because you get that high from December. For people that don't know this, December is like the biggest month for YouTube. For whatever reason, ad revenue's crazy. Like view count's always up. It's just it's a big time for YouTube, and then January hits and it shuts down. Just
maybe everybody uses their PTO time in the holidays, so they just have more time to watch YouTube.
People got more time,
And I think on the backside, the advertisers in their budgets for the year. It's like, we have this much left. Have to throw it out there to get rid of it, or they're paying taxes on it and stuff. So I guess
there's a lot of reasons for it, but it doesn't matter what the reason. That as someone who makes YouTube videos, that's the experience. That's every year it's the same thing. Like from November up to like the end of December, things are rocking, things are rolling, it's crazy, and then you hit that January lull,
and you want to take a month off.
Exactly.
Because I see a lot of channels, because of the December revenue, they'll kind of coast and take days off and this and that. I think December's the month to hit hard and then take off January.
And then take the month off in January. Yeah, exactly.
Do your compilations and your best ofs and stuff like that.
Well, we got some news. We don't have a lot of news for Black Series, but I want to go over it real quickly before we just start talking about collecting stuff.
Yeah, so we can jump into some Yak Face posts. So apparently the return of Count Dooku with Fane Channel exclusive. What are you hoping to see out of this? Do you think it's just going to be a straight re-release, or you think we might get like a different chest or shoulder armor from a video game? Or
we talked about this. We were all on Out of the Basement on Sunday morning, and we talked about this, and some people were saying like the pajama Dooku from I think that's the silliest and thing I've ever heard. Now I want it, and I'm gonna be a little
I want
sad
it so bad.
Yeah, I want Dooku wearing pajamas. so bad.
Exquisite pajamas
That's what it's called.
Called
That's right.
exquisite pajamas from the.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love it. Also, I know he has in the at least the Battlefront 2 game, he has some different shoulder armor, which would be kind of cool. If they can just do like a different torso and shoulders, but definitely interested in seeing what that turns out to be.
I mean, at the very end, if it's just a straight release for Dooku, I'm fine with that because I feel like,
It's a great
we're talking about
already.
It's a figure that was released in 2019. I think Big Bad Toy Store had him for 30, but I feel like he hasn't really been in stock outside of that for a while. So if they're just doing it to kind of refresh him, put him back in the line somehow, and it's mostly the same thing, that's fine. I'm not going to buy it. I don't need to buy it, but like I'm happy that there'll be other people that can pick him up. But if they do anything like give him lightning hands or something, I'm in. It won't take much. Yeah.
Was he photoreal the first time around?
He was. Yeah.
Yes.
He was.
He's one of the best likenesses they've done.
Yeah.
Man, we were talking about figure arts a minute ago. The Black Series blows the figure arts out of the water.
Not even close. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Visually speaking, the only downside of that Dooku is that weird gray plastic on the chain. Like you couldn't give it a silver shine. Like it has to be that weird dull plastic. Like
watch that be the only difference now in this version. Just the
and if they did, I would have to buy it.
They're like, "Hey, Mike, we heard what you wanted. Let's do this."
What a sicko!
They know how to get me.
So next up, apparently the new Phase 1 Clone Trooper that's going to be on the 3.0 mold is going to be a fan channel exclusive, and it's going to be in the case with Ki-Adi-Mundi. There'll be 4 per case, similar to the young Anakin and Padme. So not a whole lot to go over there. Just something that Yakface brought up.
Wait, we're getting a Ki-Adi-Mundi?
Yeah, are you not familiar with it?
You mean the figure that was revealed a year ago?
Good Lord, it's been so long. It
was like February 9th of 2023.
And we only saw pictures of it.
Yeah.
Like November or whenever this came out.
When did they pipeline it? Wasn't it?
They pipelined it at San Diego Comic-Con in 2021. No, sorry, 2022.
2022. Yeah.
And then they revealed it, but it was part of that weird reveal where they're like, we're not doing pre-orders for anything we're showing today, because it was like the Endor Rebel Soldier and the Biker Scout helmet, and like it was weird getting the Endor Rebel Soldier because it just kind of started showing up, like this were popping up and you're buying it when you saw it. But Ki-Adi-Mundi has just been like in this nether void of kind of existing, not existing. No one knows what's happening.
We'll see. Hopefully sooner than later.
Hopefully, because that's one of my more anticipated figures coming. That was my guy, Outlander. Oh yeah.
So apparently people are getting notifications about the price update on the Target Clone Wars 2-pack, or the Ahsoka from the Ahsoka show, which is the Phase 2 Ahsoka's Clone Trooper 332nd, and then the 501st Phase 1. Mike, did you pre-order this? Have you gotten your
I did. I mean, I'm not calling anyone a liar or anything, but what I am going to say is I don't think it's widespread. I don't know why or how Target is choosing like who to do this with, but it's not everybody, because so many people bought these. Like, it sold out, so it wasn't nobody. And I feel like if this were happening on a widespread basis, we'd have more people talking about it versus just like it feels like a 1 or 2 off situation where people are getting canceled or they're being asked to update the price. And there should be more. If Target were really going to do something about it, there'd be a lot more people talking about it. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
but no, they haven't done anything
like
with me.
Such a small minute of people might have like social media or something too.
It could be, but I don't think so. But no, I mean, mine, I've still got both mine on order. They haven't asked me to to do anything with it. They're still both $24.99 each.
So you didn't get the email to
Nope.
update the price or anything?
Nope.
Interesting. Yeah, let us know if you do, because that's
I will.
something to keep an eye on for sure.
For sure.
Robo, did you pre-order this pack from Target?
No, I missed it. It went quick, right? Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, this one.
It was like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Now,
But-
I would have done it for $24.99, but I don't know if I'm going to get this for $50. I like different clones and all that, but I'm almost to that point.
You're cloned out. You're cloned out. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sort of getting there on, like, I'm there on the AliExpress stuff. The knockoff stuff like this. I'm there on those. I'm kind of done with those, unless they do something that really blows me away. Like, these Wolfpack ones blew me away. I had to pick them up. But if Hasbro does, the 3.0 mold, I'm in. But at the same time,
I
I'm
love
getting
this
a little
clone
cloned
mold
out.
so much.
It's so nice.
It's such a good mold. Yeah.
I'm getting a little cloned out
Yeah.
because the shelf is so packed. But it's funny because, maybe a year and a half ago on the show, I think I was begging for just repaint clones, keep churning them out. And now I'm like, all right, Hasbro,
This is your
pull your
fault.
roll. Just
You did. You did it. It's your fault.
Yeah. Because do you have any of the model kits or anything like that? Any imports, or is it just all Hasbro?
No, it's all Hasbro, and then the
Hasbro
AliExpress.
and customs, the
And then,
AliExpress customs. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're welcome for having to put the customs quotes on there. My page.
All it took was this. It
appropriately.
just took the sacrificing of your Instagram. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all it took.
Yeah. That's all.
The,
it took.
What was okay. Star Wars is my main line and everything, but
Yeah.
I know Clone 1.0,
Mm-hmm.
Clone 2.0 brought in the hinge and swivel elbows and stuff, right?
Right. Yep.
Now, what 3 got bigger shoulder bells and different
It's
torso?
got bicep swivel.
Has the overlay, the chest overlay, which
the
gives
chest
it
is
a
an
little bit,
overlay,
a little bit better movement.
flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thins it down, right?
Yeah.
And it has the let's see.
Yeah. So far, they've all
belt.
had an actual removable helmet.
Yeah, and with an actual face underneath. I'm not gonna pop it off, but I mean, on the screen you can clearly see the.
Which is weird because the 2.0s all had the helmet or the head under the helmet, but none of them were painted.
None of them were painted.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you could pry the helmet off, but it was just
Yeah.
an unpainted head sculpt underneath.
But the shoulder size change and stuff just gives the proportions
Yeah.
a
Yeah,
lot
it's
more
more
accurate.
like a
It's got-
live
it's got a-
action, realistic.
Yeah, it's got a better silhouette, I guess.
Now, some people had gripes about 2.0. I liked, especially with the upgrade and stuff, but
Yep.
3.0 is even better.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the 2.0, but I think 3.0 is just such a it's the next level. It's amazing.
For me, it's the same kind of upgrade as the new Din Djarin, where it's just the silhouette looks right, and I think that makes all the difference in the world. Like, I'm not saying the older figures were bad; they were good toys, they were fun, but when they nail that shape, that silhouette, and it looks exactly how it should, it just it just feels right. Like you just know inside instinctually, like this is what it should look like.
And the 2.0 looked like it was modeled after animation almost. And I get it because that's what Star Wars was doing for the most part with clones was animation. But the 3.0 is a lot more live action of a look.
Gotcha.
At least like for the Andor show, because clones were live action in that and all that.
For the first time, right? Wasn't it?
I think it was the Andor show and those like flashbacks, and then
Andor was the first time that they were.
Yeah, and then which show had the flashback to Baby
Ahsoka.
Yoda in the
Oh no, that was Mandalorian season 3.
Mandalorian season 3? Yeah,
Mandalorian
Gotcha.
season 3. Yeah.
I get them all mixed up these days. There's a lot of Star
Same.
Wars shows.
Yeah, I don't actually. You know what? Hold on, Obi-Wan. They were
They were live action Obi-Wan.
they were live action Obi-Wan. I think that actually was the first instance because that was the first time. And I just like 2 days ago did a full rewatch of Obi-Wan because I hadn't seen it since it aired back in 2022. And you know what? I kind of liked it. When you can just watch it in like one chunk, instead of like weekly and spread over 2 months or whatever. I don't know. It didn't feel as bad as before. I really kind of enjoyed it. Like, it's not perfect. It's not my favorite Star Wars thing ever, but like it didn't have anything that I hated, and it had a lot of good stuff that I loved. So I kind of liked it. And I'm on team Obi-Wan was okay.
I've got the fan edit that somebody cut it down to
The
a
movie
length.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it yet, but I've got nothing against the show either. I just haven't ever went back. I'll watch clips.
Yeah.
Can I spoil something tiny in the fan edit movie?
Oh, did they do something?
Well, there's a small, I don't know if you want me telling you, but
it's fine.
Bring it out, man. Come on.
So at the end of it, I guess near the end of the Obi-Wan versus Vader final duel, right before Obi-Wan walks away, they add in a clip of Qui-Gon. You can hear Qui-Gon say, so it's implied that Obi-Wan hears him say, he is the chosen one. And I really didn't like that because at the time, during the timeline of this, canonically, Obi-Wan still 100% thinks that Luke is the chosen one because he tells Darth Maul, essentially on his deathbed that he is the chosen one. Whenever Darth Maul asks him, is he the chosen one? And he says, yeah. But they inserted it, Qui-Gon telling him he is the chosen one. And then Obi-Wan decides to walk away. But I feel like at this point, Obi-Wan specifically believes that it's Luke. So
I think it's an unnecessary addition, sure, but
I guess they.
it doesn't ruin it. I mean, it's a cool edit like everything else. I just thought that was a little.
Yeah.
I guess it was a little much.
Interpreted it as that's another reason for Obi-Wan to finally quit hovering so
Not
much.
to kill him.
Yeah, it'd be like, well, that, and when he gets back to Tatooine, it's like, okay, you handle Luke. I'll be off in the desert. Do 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 do.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess it could be interpreted that way, but it's kind of like, oh, okay. But then Qui-Gon pops up there. Does he still pop up in the fan edit?
He does. That's a fun part of the show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end. So we do have some very good news. So apparently Mr. Steve Evans is coming back to Star Wars, which we have asked for this a long time ago, which is very cool. For longtime Black Series fans, you'll know that he was on the Star Wars team before he switched to Marvel, but now he's going to be doing both. And I kind of had a theory because I talked to somebody who works at Hasbro at some point last year, and they said there's less people to do more work at Hasbro now, and especially that rings even more true after the layoffs we just heard about. So I kind of wonder if that's the reason they have Steve doing Marvel and Star Wars going forward. What do you all think?
Well, I know for everything else they've got Emily, who you'll see her on like PulseCon and doing. She's in charge of everything that's not like Marvel and Star Wars, but like Dungeons and Dragons, Ghostbusters, Power Rangers, G.I. Joe. Like she's in charge of all those, so it's not just like one person. So I think this kind of mirrors that a little bit, where they have one person kind of in charge of the Disney stuff, the Marvel, Star Wars owned properties. But ultimately I'm just happy because I know Steve Evans. He just genuinely loves toys.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's in it because he loves toys, not just because he's a good marketer or whatever. And I'm not poo-pooing anybody where this is just their job and they stumbled into working for Hasbro and they might not be a big toy collector, but they're doing it for a paycheck, and that's fine. It's fine. But it does make a difference when someone in charge is in charge because they love toys.
Well, there's also the tipping point on that side too that can affect the outcome. But yeah,
True.
I can agree with that. And I have nothing against people just doing it as their job. They're 9 to 5,
No, yeah, same.
coming in. Sometimes that needs to be that needs to happen, just
You need like a mixture. You need like
Yeah.
a mixture of it. Exactly.
Yeah. It's good to be in the middle, but if not, then you need someone over here and you need someone over here. And
Yep.
that can tell each other no.
Yep.
Stop it. No. But Yeah, we've seen some toy lines where the main person was super fan, and then it turned out, why are you doing? Because they want to do it, you know.
Because they're one of those fans, and they're taking a direction that they saw it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But this is a good. I've only talked to Steve a couple times back when he was on Star Wars. Was when they introduced Photo Reel about a year after Legends did.
Yep.
And I said something like, "Is this because Legends?" And this may be another good thing because at that time it was almost like there was no communication between teams. It was almost like, "Oh, Legends is doing that too," and I'm like, "You're the same company. What
How did you not know?" Yeah.
Don't you? Aren't you just down the hall? And apparently, not. There's a separation, you know. So maybe this will be good for production or ideas or something.
Yeah, he can use the Director Krennic head. He can use the new one, the one that Marvel Legends has, or on a new Director Krennic.
I haven't opened that figure yet, but has anybody? I mean, is it the same sculpt?
It's not the right size.
No, and it's the new
sculpt.
Yeah.
No,
it's not the same sculpt.
No, it's it's brand new. It has the new, like, you know how on the new figures you pop and the whole neck comes off. Well, the old Director Krennic Black Series has just the ball going up there. So
yeah,
I mean you can fix that. I had to.
I mean, yeah, you can.
That was how this Obi-Wan was. Oops, I had to heat it up and get pliers and pull the neck out, but like it worked.
But it's not intended just to swap. You have to. Yeah,
it's just all one piece. I think it'll be easier. I saw some people doing it. I think it's gonna, when I do it, I'm gonna take out the neck of Krennic and plug into that way. But when I looked at it in the promotional pictures, I could have swore the hair was kind of the same shape. It wasn't quite.
Yeah, no, it's a new sculpt. It's different.
It's an updated photo. Yeah.
Okay.
So we did have a little bit more news, some great news on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, January 23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're getting a Star Wars fan stream, which is awesome. We haven't had one of those in a while, so hopefully we get some cool pipeline reveals. I'm expecting
it's funny that's what you care about. You're like, oh, we could get real. No, I want to know what the pipeline reveals are. That's what I want to know about.
I feel like lately what they do is they show stuff that they've pipelined and then they just pipeline more.
Sure.
So I'm really excited. Yeah. I'm hoping to see the Droideka. I want to see photos of the Droideka, and I know it's supposed to be pre-ordered soon. So hopefully next week we're able to pre-order, 5 or 6 or an army of Droidekas.
Okay.
Because I probably will.
Okay. How many? Okay. So obviously this is going to be deluxe. So we're talking like $33.
Doesn't matter. 4. I mean, at least 4.
I'm at over 40.
You think over 40?
No, over $40.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or is it gonna, you think? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if it's deluxe, it'll be 33. I wouldn't mind. If they want to bump it up to 40 and give it like a premium paint job or some extra accessories or something, like I'm okay with that. It will affect how many I buy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now I already have 2 of the old. What was that line called? Where was it just Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and a destroyer? It was like electronic. It was like a 6-inch electronic scale or something like that. Yeah. But I've got a couple of those that I think fit great, but I'd still have to get a couple of the new ones. Because how many are you thinking? How many are y'all thinking?
I'm gonna buy at least 1, maybe 2 at most.
I'll start with 2. Usually, what happens, especially like with this new clone, whenever this came out, pre-order 2. And then whenever come out, just buy like 2 more. So I'll probably do the same thing on the Droideka. I'll pre-order 2, and then if I get it and I really like it, and especially now my collection is primarily focused on 3D printed display items. Thank you, Lane Speeder Luke. I love them so much. A lot of what I get is predicated on, am I gonna put it on a 3D print and display it that way? So I might,
you know what that means.
Have to get a couple more.
You know what that means, Lance Speeder Luke, is we need a hallway. We need an episode 1 Trade Federation hallway with a half melted door that Qui-Gon was trying to bust through. That's what we need. Remember back when we just thought they were called destroyer droids because that's what Obi-Wan called them.
And that's what I just said, wasn't it? It was
destroyer droid. Yeah. I didn't know people actually called it Destroyer Droid or Droidicas until like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. It was always Destroyer Droid. Destroyer Droid.
Well, don't they say doesn't they say it in the next scene, don't they?
He does. He's like, oh, no match for the droid cause or whatever. Yeah. But the accent's so weird and lightly racist. It's hard to tell what he's saying.
Yeah. What are droid cars? What?
Exactly. What's a droid car? What?
Yeah.
Wilbon
Destroy us.
Wilbon does make a good point here. I want to see the name Palpatine.
No, do not. Yeah. Wilbon, if I ever see you say the name Sheev again, I will leave your fan club, buddy. Whoever decided to take Palpatine and give him the first name of Sheev, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Sheev?
What?
It's worse than Steve. It's worse. It's like a worse version of that name. It's like in Sheev. I don't.
He has to have a first name, though. What would you
I know, but Sheev?
Oscar Palpatine.
Right.
Brandon?
And
Jeremy Palpatine.
Yeah. My Palpatine's got a first name. It's OSCAR.
OSCAR.
Yeah.
Well, he is kind of a wiener.
But they never say Sheev in the movies, right?
No. It was I think it was a Tarkin book.
Like
it was
Gotcha.
It was James Luceno in the Tarkin book from like 2015 or something like that gave him the first name Sheev, and he'd never had one before then.
I bought that book, and then like not even kidding you, 5 years later or so, that I guess the version of the book I had, and I bought it for retail. Actually, I got it for Christmas. The version of the book I had was kind of rare, so I sold it for like $80 online. So
that's crazy. What a crazy story.
I didn't even read it all. I read like not even half of it.
But you own the book and you get credit for trying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just not a big I'm not a big reader, Even back then when I was in college, barely read any material, just not big on it. So it doesn't keep my focus.
I had a lot of the late 90s comics and stuff, and I never got into the novels and stuff, any of that.
Yeah, and I can do the comics mostly just illegally watching them on YouTube instead of buying the actual comic. I know it just keeps, maybe I'm just a child at heart and the visuals keep my attention, especially with Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars is such a visual and visual storytelling. So now that the news is done on our show notes, it literally just says chat with Robo. So this is where we're just gonna pile you with questions.
Sweet.
And get to know Robo. So I did want to ask, since this is a Black Series focused podcast, what would you explain or say your sort of relationship with Black Series is? How did it start? And then how deep were you in it? Have you slowed down?
In order to answer that question, we must go back to 1978. No,
all the way back. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All the way back.
Time travel, baby.
Star Wars was my main childhood. My mom took us to the movies. She bought us the toys. That was my main. And I had Transformers and Masters, and was that the biggies? Masters, Transformers, and
G.I. Joe.
Nope. I didn't get a lot into G.I. Joe. I only had a
Mask.
Mask was one of my first toys I bought with my own money from working.
I loved Mask so much.
Oh man, I wish they would do something with Mask. It's just
Same.
sitting there. Oh, Larson was the one that convinced me I would buy 3 3/4 inch figures if they did a Mask in that smaller
I would
scale.
too. Yep.
Yeah. But so Star Wars was always my main line. So and then Turtles came along and Ghostbusters and Batman '89, and then junior high and high school, and that's the time you got to grow up. You got other priorities and stuff.
Sure, yeah, I definitely didn't bring toys
well, that
to
only
high school and get made fun of, but yeah,
that only lasted a year or two after, because when Power of the Force 2 came along, I was back in
95. Yeah,
and I like to remind my wife, we weren't dating, but she worked at Walmart. She hid me a C-3PO. That was my first figure.
Wow.
So this is all her fault. This is all her fault. So I did Power of the Force and all that. I did everything men on card until 2002.
Because they're going to be worth so much money.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even that, because I opened some for customizing and everything.
Sure.
I just liked the cards, and
It was a good presentation. Yeah.
yeah. And I could hang them on the walls. I could put pegboard up. They're up off the floor. They're out of tubs.
How do you feel about the Black Series doing the nostalgia ones for those?
I have one of those hanging. I have some of those hanging on the wall, and then I got one to open to be on the shelf. But then 2002, Spider-Man Classics, and then Marvel Legends was like, oh, they make figures bigger. These are awesome. So
Yep.
I went to that scale and forsook.
Forsaken.
3 3/4 inch forever.
Yeah.
From there on out.
Hell, that's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
kind of
That
the
is
same
what I'm
way. Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't even get back into. I saw the GI Joe 25th anniversary, and I would
Yep.
look at them, and those are. But I'd never.
They look so cool, but you never could because it was too
No.
small. And
Because
because
once
I'm like, I remember figures being so much bigger when I was smaller, and then as an adult, I'm like, were you always this small?
That's it. Have you pulled a mask figure out in?
Yeah, they're tiny. Yeah.
I'd lose this in the carpet. What's going on here? No, but yeah, I was bigger, so the toy's bigger. And once you go there for a few years, you try to go back to 3 3/4 inch, and you're fiddling with belts and weapons. And I think one of the GI Joes had a bullet that you could load into a gun or a suitcase or something. I'm like, no,
It's gone.
So
yeah.
one of my big wish list items. Oh, well, okay. That was also at the time, I could only collect one thing at a time, one
Sure.
line. That's it. So when I got into Marvel, Star Wars, goodbye. And then when DC,
Because
came
it was
along,
the size you liked, right?
well, yeah, the size I liked.
Yeah.
And then I was always a Marvel kid too. I read comics.
Okay.
That's, only Marvel though. None of that DC stuff.
Get out of here, Superman.
Until DC Universe Classics, because Marvel Legends had just gotten somewhere around there. Hasbro got it, and their first waves weren't great at all, and then
They were
went
not
on
good.
hiatus.
Nope.
Yeah, they went.
It was like Drax the Destroyer wave and things like that.
Yeah.
And I just
So DC came along at a very, very opportune time, and so I started reading those comics and collecting that line, and then Marvel came back around. But my big wish list item was always 6-inch Star Wars.
Mhm.
And then, so when Black Series was announced, it was like, I'm gonna get those.
You remember that article that had the pictures of like Luke Skywalker in like a little forest
Darth
thing
Maul,
or whatever? And,
Well, Veebs loves to tell this story because at San Diego that year,
Mhm.
there was a booth, a dealer that had gotten cases before
Oh.
they even hit the U.S. So
Wow.
one of us bought X-Wing Luke, and one of us bought Darth Maul, and was it a Stormtrooper in that first wave?
Yeah, Sand Trooper, but yeah,
Insane Trooper. Yep.
and then R2D2.
Trooper, and then R2. Yeah, and I can't remember which one I got. I think it was X-Wing Luke, but boy, I coveted that Darth Maul that Matt. I think it was Matt got one of them. Somebody. We only got one each because they were also priced accordingly for.
Yeah, because they were out before it's super early. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna cost way too much.
Yeah. So that was awesome, and that's been kind of downhill since, or uphill, depending on how you want to look at it.
An elevation change happened basically.
Yeah, because then the paints,
Yeah. Sea level.
paints were nice on it. Yeah, and then photoreal came back, and it was like, okay,
Yep.
but now with the prices up to where they are and such, which they're comparatively speaking to the rest of the world, they're still cheap toys,
Let's be honest, they're only $5 more. Like $5 isn't a lot of money, but
Unless it's an exclusive, then you're in the 27 range. GameStop.
Yeah, then
Target,
sure.
et cetera.
but
Yeah.
and the thing is, if you're just talking about one toy, $5 doesn't mean much. But when you're buying 6 figures in a wave, that $5 is a whole ass other toy.
And the past couple of years have definitely broke my completist tendencies.
Yep.
It's I used to need everything. I gotta have everything, but since I've went to just buying what I absolutely want and need, because we don't need.
You don't need any toy. Yeah.
Yeah. Want really, really bad. I can appreciate instead of having 6 figures to open up, if I only bought 2, I can appreciate those a lot more.
Yeah.
So I spend more time with them, go through them, and that's what I like doing.
I don't know. You said we don't need figures, but it's not a Black Series Cantina episode if I don't say I need a brand new Anakin from episode 6.
Now, I'll say I needed that new Mandalorian.
He looks so good.
Absolutely.
This Din Djarin is top notch. Like
it is.
Just compared to, I have the old one here, night and day.
Oh, it is.
Night and day.
Even if you're only looking from the neck up, you're like, oh, this one's so much better.
This is. You could repaint this and just have it be another Mandalorian, but you have to keep this one Din Djarin because he's shinier. I know it's not the most shiny, obviously, out there on the market, but for a Black Series figure,
I think it's shiny enough. It's shiny enough.
I mean, for $24.99.
Yeah.
No, and that's the biggie. $24.99. It may have its nitpicks, right? And anybody can. There's no perfect action figure. None. Nope.
And I love the Darksaber's brighter.
But for $24.99, the Mayfex may do or come with a few more things, but that still beats it.
Yep.
Just based on value.
Yeah, based on value.
Yeah.
And even for I'm going to say forsaking it again, the prices. You stand that next to the Mayfex Mando, and just the little details. Black Series, of course, it took some years, but
sure,
they nailed it. Compared, the Mayfex still has a little bit of work to do on it.
Mm-hmm. That's how Hasbro does it. The first one they release is kind of mediocre, and then they'll come out with a banger mold, and they'll repaint all the old ones, and then we'll buy all those over. So
yeah.
They've got me in a blender.
That's
cycle. That's right.
They're doing it with a 332nd. They got the 332nd. Ahsoka's painted clone trooper on the 2.0 mold. Now they're putting on 3.0 in the 2-pack. Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
But at the same time, they're also. Here comes that apologist attitude, but
we're right there with you. We're right there.
They're also sometimes in a race to try to get product on the shelves while the media is hot, So they're kind of stuck in between working with concept art or because the movies and shows they can change right up till the day it releases. And
and I think the biggest example of that is Constable Zuvio. They cut him from the movie last minute, but Hasbro's like, we got a figure on the pegs right now.
Yeah. I mean, now he's on my Mando shelf, but
you know what? So I just went to Disneyland like 2 weeks ago, and they have this thing where you can go around Galaxy's Edge with the little magic band, and there's like bounties where like you scan doors with your phone, and it's a little hot cold thing, and when you turn it in, Constable Zuvio is the dude that like gives you your credit rewards, and I'm like, that's kind of neat. Yeah.
So you can put the figure with your Doc Ondar now.
I could. Yeah, he could be part of that. Yeah.
Man, I don't remember that. Whenever I was there, was that a new thing?
It's a new thing. It's like something they've been doing for like the last year or so. So it would have been before that because they didn't have magic bands then. It's something that you have to have a magic band to do.
Oh, you know what? I think I did see those whenever I was there in November last year.
Yeah.
Or year before. Year before? Yeah, it was 22. Well, maybe not. I just remember some kind of bands, and my kids were like, hey, look at those. And I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
That costs money.
It did. It did cost money.
Now my kids are 18 and 22, so me slapping them is kind of like, spend your own money. Get it.
So where are you at right now with collecting? What are you collecting? What are you spending your money on? Like what?
Like I said, I'm picky and choosy. I'm cherry picking a lot of stuff, but Star Wars still is priority.
Okay.
As much as YouTube wants to tell me how terrible it is, I'm still, invested the most in Star Wars.
What are you talking about? You shill. Oh my God.
No, it's not the YouTube. YouTube for some reason wants to show me all the videos of Star Wars sucks. And I'm like,
Black Series going downhill.
I go through. Yeah, I go through. Do not show me. Not interested. Not interested. I don't need it. Yeah. But
that's the main one. But like I said, I didn't. While I enjoy a lot of the shows, I didn't need figures from Andor.
Sure.
Love the show.
Yep.
Didn't need figures. I didn't need all the Obi-Wans from Obi-Wan.
You don't need
Sorry,
5 different
about
Obi-Wans?
everyone.
What are you talking about?
No,
What's wrong with you?
I got the one with the blue shirt just because of how different.
And that's the best one. That's the best one.
Yeah. But
Well, that
but
one,
they get around to
that
it.
one or the Mythos one. That one or the Mythos one, I think, are the two
I
best
think I've
ones.
got a. Oh, is that from the last of the?
The last scene.
The Walmart ones.
series.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I had a custom one. I think somebody did a kit through Casting Cave or something. So it was the old concept Mythos Obi-Wan, but
Sure. Yeah.
I still like it. But then I needed everything from Ahsoka because that's my favorite part of Star Wars is the aliens and the magic and the lightsabers and that kind of stuff. And plus, I was already invested in all those characters from Rebels and
I was gonna say, did you watch Rebels?
Yeah.
And
and Bad Batch. I needed both seasons of Bad Batch because, dang it, I like a little splash of color.
They're
on my
they're
armor.
just different enough to where like I can't get away with just having season 1. I need season 2, and the season 2 ones are better than the season 1 ones. Yeah.
See, we're all sickos in different ways. I needed every Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I was fine with season 1 Bad Batch. You all needed season 2 Bad Batch, but didn't need all the Kenobis.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing. I mean,
Yep.
you don't have to buy everything. And really, as much as money as they don't expect everybody to buy everything. They would like everybody to, but
I feel like some people have this expectation that they should buy everything, and when there's something that they don't want to, they get mad at it. Like why are they forcing us to buy this? Like nobody's forcing you to buy anything.
these are luxury items, baby. You don't
Exactly.
I get that mentality though. Of, need everything, but I'm to the point where it's like that's not for me. I'm cool.
And that's fine. But then the other side of it gets annoying when something's not for you, but then you have to comment that every time it comes up. Like, I understand it's not for you, but like you could just let other people enjoy it. Just let them enjoy it. You don't have to interject that you don't like it every time it comes up.
But, you all are fellow YouTubers. I also work with algorithms on Instagram and TikTok. So, but the negative comments does boost engagement. So
it does. It does. No. Absolutely. It does.
I totally get that. I've been told that many a time, but I'll be damned if it doesn't just stick in your craw sometimes.
It's really annoying.
You get 100 positive comments and that one negative is like, hello, I'm going to live in your brain for the next 24 hours.
Rent free. It's just there. Yep.
Yeah.
Man, is that me whenever Yak posts something TVC and I'm like, we need this in TBS, and I get like a billion TVC people commenting, I feel like I'm just living in their heads all day.
It's like, oh, you're one of those. Oh, you're that guy. Because my biggest pet peeve is they're not catering to you specifically.
Right.
That's
because more than you exist. The phrase I hate the most are two phrases, either who is this for, or nobody wants this, or nobody asked for this. The first one
for this.
the first one gets me because like there's always someone who wants that, someone that didn't get it the first time around, or someone that just loves that character. There's always someone. It might not be the majority of people, but there's somebody.
Yeah.
The second one gets me where they say like nobody asked for this. When you say that, you have just chosen to speak for everybody. You have confused your own self for everyone else. And while other people might share your opinion, by no means does that encompass everybody, because that's what you're saying.
Right. Because I love it. 77% of the time when you see that comment, you can either scroll one up or one down to somebody going, yes, I've been waiting for this character.
Exactly.
But it's just like,
but get those blinders on. I don't want to say his name. But there's an Instagram content creator who's usually very negative, and he drives me insane. But
I know exactly who you're talking about.
you know who I'm talking about. I know you do. But when they announced the clone 2-pack, he's like, I can't believe they're doing clone 2-pack. Who wants clones? And like the answer is like most people. Like that's clones are kind of what sells.
and then 5 months later, he'll post a picture like, look at this cool, look at what I got. Like, why did I make this? Like, you bought it. What are you talking about?
You bought it.
Look at all the figures behind you. Why are you complaining about all this stuff?
Or the people that are like, Hasbro's just out to take your money, and then behind them are like a whole wall
It's like this.
full of
Yeah, it's all
Hasbro
of those.
products. Yeah.
I kind of I don't understand, because that's not how I collect.
Sure.
But there's groups of guys doing that. So I mean, I don't go out and looking for them and stuff, but I guess it's just another form of collecting, being negative.
Hate
about
buying? Hate buying? Hate collecting?
but I don't go out of my way to go, because I'll get comments of, why don't you review like so and so? And I'm like, because I review like, go watch so and so.
Yeah.
If you
go what? Yeah. Go watch their stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you trying to change me?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
Lane Speeder Luke gets a lot of those comments because he just gives a quick overview of the figure. He doesn't dive deeper into the articulation. And people are like, why don't you go tell us what the articulation is? And Lane Speeder Luke's just like, because this is what I do. I enjoy just showing you the figure.
Yeah.
Go watch Mike Case or Robo or whoever else. If you see all the articulation.
There's no shortage of reviewers out there that you can see.
There was one in particular that was acting like Luke owed people to show him the articulation because he got the figure like first before anybody. And Luke's just like, no, I don't owe you anything. I'm just showing you the overview of the figure. So people are wild in the comment section.
It is.
That is for sure.
And the bigger and bigger a channel gets, the more I call them drive-bys. People coming by and just, hey, you're a grown-ass man, quit buying toys. Just, hey, I found your video on YouTube. And I'm just like, who forced you to watch?
Right. Why did you watch it?
You spent more time making this comment than it took for you to click X and find something you do enjoy.
I just imagine someone like tying them to a chair and forcing their eyes open, like Clockwork Orange style, and just being like, nope, you're watching this.
I have got a comment back on that before. It was like, YouTube did. I didn't go searching for it. I was like, oh, no.
That's fair.
I did get a really funny comment one time on TikTok that I really loved, but somebody commented, because I posted a video of like my entire collection, just like a panoramic shot of it or whatever. Somebody commented, bro's room looks like a store with the skull emoji. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty good roast. If you're gonna roast me, like, that's pretty solid. I'll give you that one. It does look like a toy store in here.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you don't have a wall full of unopened toys. I mean, I don't want to poo-poo the way anyone collects. If you like to buy toys and keep them in a box, it's fine. But I can't help but see your collection as basically just a toy store. Like, you just have boxes of toys. That's it. You just have boxes of toys, and it's just, I don't find that fun. But you know what? Like I'm saying, like if that's how you collect, that's how you collect. It's fine. I'm not going to be at your house. Yeah.
Oh, nothing against how anybody collects.
Yeah.
But you come to my channel and you start saying how I'm ruining the value of my toys by you start judging me, you're gonna get it back. You're gonna
Well, anyone that comments like that doesn't understand how collecting and value works, because you opening that makes theirs more valuable. That's how it works.
That's just
Liners,
I did that when back in 2020, my one Black Series grail was the San Diego Comic-Con Kenner Boba Fett. It sold out instantly. Yeah. And as soon as I got it on a live stream, I busted it open. Like, I'm not gonna not open this. Like, I want it on my shelf. I love Kenner colored the stuff, and I don't know. Like, people are like, I can't believe you opened that. That's worth so much money. I'm like, I don't collect these. This is not an investment for me. I've got a stock portfolio. I don't have a stock portfolio actually, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't buy these because they're worth money. I buy them because I like them. I buy them because I want them.
Now, I will say most of the ones you have carded across the top up there are the same ones that I mostly have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much nothing but the like anniversary stuff and a couple of STC items.
And that stuff, that's part of the presentation. That's kind of I've got the credit collection all right here because like outside the box, you know, what are
what are you gonna do first?
You know,
yeah. And for most of them, I think the only one I don't have a double of is obviously the SDCC Boba Fett, and then maybe the red Vader, the Celebration Vader. I think that was from Celebration. Is that right? Most everything else I have a double of down here, except for some of the comic stuff that I just haven't opened yet. I plan on opening some of those, but
yeah, I don't have a double of the SDCC Boba Fett either, but I've got a custom that somebody made on the same body.
Nice.
And then I've got like a stack of model kits I want to do in comic book and Finn Scheisse and
just like
Toby Dalla and Jodo Cast and
all the different Boba Fetts. Oh, you name dropped Jodo Cast. Look at that. That's a classic 90s comic reference right there.
That's oh man, I love even before you know Mandos, there were Mandos that I wanted.
Is it Twin Engines of Destruction or whatever?
Yeah. And then he was he alternate color scheme in Terrace Kasi or something? Yeah.
Yeah, Terrace Kasi, the master. What a stupid fighting game.
I never played much, but
Tusken I always Raider named Whore.
Robo. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's what I was gonna say about this Jedi Power Battles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I didn't remember that until I saw your pictures with the yellow lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh man, I didn't play that much, but I remember that game from somewhere.
I had that on PlayStation. It was my first games. I played that for one summer, like the whole summer. Like I had a friend that would come over every day, and we just played it all day.
Robo,
that's how you played games with friends. Anyway, what?
Do you 3D print at all? Are you in the 3D printing game?
Oh, before I moved everything out here, I had I was just getting into resin printing, and then everything. That room is a disaster area, and I can't get it to it. And I've got a table set up and everything where I'm going to bring it, and I've got another one that I can't remember the brand names right now, but they sent for a review that I need to get working on. But I screwed up. The first prints, I was like, yes, I can do this. I am capable of 3D printing. And then I cleaned the screen with a paper towel, and it was disheartening for the next week or so. Like, what am I doing wrong? And
are you only doing the resin printing, or you're not doing the filament for like?
Not yet, because I'm only working on like small heads and
accessories and
where I didn't want to mess with the layer lines or any of that. But
I got you. I don't do the resin printing, but I do like that sort of stuff.
See, and that's once I get kind of a handle on resin, I hope to. My phone is I hope to try that out a little bit because of the bigger stuff, mostly because of Landspeeder Luke and his stuff.
Yeah,
he posts a picture and I'm like, I would love to have that on a shelf somewhere to just print it up myself, because painting's my thing. I love painting, and printing bypasses the sculpt part, which will always held me back in customizing for years and years and years. And this kind of, somebody else did the sculpting, click, click, click. But I got to get everything set up and try to find some kind of, I guess, you're supposed to exhaust the fumes a little bit.
Oh, in the resin? Yeah.
Yeah.
They say don't keep it in your house, just like in a random room.
And
you
the
might
thing
get
about
cancer and die one day or something.
Yeah, it's very enclosed. I have shut it as much as possible. And I need
Do you have a garage you can put it in?
nope. It's either the house or in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess with resin too, you got to keep it warm. It works worse when cold.
Yeah, they recommend not to keep it in like an outdoor detached garage or anything. Because I was thinking about putting it in my detached garage if I got a resin one. But then I heard about if it's too cold, and we've had single digit weather here the last week or so. So and then I don't want to worry about like putting a tube up to like my basement window and exhausting it. I'm just gonna stick with the the filament printing, and then I'll buy a resin. So
now,
if I need,
I've got a airbrush spray booth that has an exhaust and stuff, and I've seen where people put that into cans and have different ways of exhausting the fumes inside through a filter, and but I don't know if that will work on resin fumes. I think of airbrush and particles, So I don't know. I need to start working on that though, because.
Well, hey, it sounds like we just came up with a good partnership. I print the stuff, you paint it. I send you yours. You send me mine back. You get one.
Oh,
get a painted version. This is perfect. This is perfect.
Painting two things at a time. I've actually. I won't go into too much detail, but I've actually been behind the scenes at a company or two back in the day of thinking of getting into painting prototypes and stuff. And my biggest hurdle was painting two. It was like, but I just want to paint one. But if it's all like landscape stuff or like that Hoth, that turret.
Yeah. Most of it, like as far as printing, I've painted so for the Hoth turret, I was really nervous about weathering it because I did it on white filament, so I wouldn't have to paint it white, but I did just do some gray and some browns on it to make it look dirty, and it actually turned out pretty solid. So I'll do my own little, let me grab this Darth Vader operating table that functions. It's a Lane Speeder Luke design, so I can have it. But, I put these let me slide that back in. I put the gold touches on there and then the black up here.
Yeah.
So I will do stuff like that, and I've learned to dry brush a little bit, and it actually makes stuff look good. But for the most part, with Luke's stuff, you just print it on the color, and then you don't really have to I'll just dry brush, weather a couple things. But other than
he takes the Hasbro method to it, where it's just the right color already.
Yeah.
So you're not talking about heads and stuff.
No, this is just stuff like this. Actually.
Oh, now that we may be able to work something out. I thought you were talking about painting eyeballs and stuff, and I'm like, I can't.
No, see, I did, I put some shinier paint because I printed this little cap piece in gray, but I put some shiny or silver paint on this. So this stuff is I'll just weather. I'm trying to see really quick something else I've weathered. I think the best example I have is the client. I'm just gonna grab the chair, but I have the client from Mandalorian. Weathered this chair to make it look old. I printed this in the gray filament, but I painted it a darker gray and then put some blue and some browns on it. It's stuff like that is the most I've done. Yeah, dry brushing, weathering. Yeah.
Oh man,
dry brushing is fun. I suck at painting,
it is.
But you can't really suck at dry brushing as long as you get most of the paint off the brush before you do it.
Yeah. You get too heavy.
Yeah. You don't want to go too heavy.
Yeah. And I was nervous, and I think that was the first thing I actually did dry brush. It was that and the desk. And then, but our group chat, the show squad, Luke and the Out of Basement Boys, specifically Nate and Mike were telling me oh, dry brushing is really fun. You can't mess it up. And that kind of
gave me the confidence
to try it.
Yeah.
And then I was they said I think the advice was just go as little as you can at first, get used to it, because you can't mess it up if you.
I got into building Gundam models, and that was my favorite part. Is just getting a nice dry brush on it to make it just changes the way the figure looks.
It does. It gives it depth. Gives it some character.
It makes parts look metal, because that's what that natural patina, which is just really nice.
Yeah. This is my setup for the operating table. I got this Vader on it.
No.
Robo, did you pop the helmet off the Kenobi Vader, the dual Zen version?
I
Is that
haven't.
the head sculpt.
Hold on. Do I have that figure? I didn't get that figure because
You heard it here. Robo's a
wait,
fake
that's
fan,
'cause-
everyone.
Because I have 3 of them, he couldn't. It's sold out.
we were talking about figure arts. I did see that this was really good. So
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so
I
you
got
got
the Obi-Wan.
the figure arts one.
Does that have a full
Yeah.
head sculpt you can underneath, or I think it
I,
does.
I'm not sure.
It might.
Maybe.
See, I'm hoping
But
Hasbro just releases a version like this with a younger Hayden look on it, and then fills in this gap here.
Now, was that painted on both sides?
Yes.
Yeah, it comes like this. The eyes.
That was
painted.
the craziest thing Hasbro did this year. Was in that Vader, they had a full Anakin head sculpt under there, painted.
So
They shoved that big a peg into it?
yeah. So the thing is, this side is painted where you can see the actual like color of his head is darker, like the pinks. They only
Yeah.
painted the eyes on this. They didn't add like shading other than the eye area, and then there was a giant peg from the helmet right there.
But they did the hard
the
part.
Yeah, they did the eyes
So,
and everything.
and that's photo reeled on, right?
Yeah, it's
Yep,
photo reeled
yep.
on. So my theory is
they
one
even
day
had that
they're gonna
scar on his eye. Like that's
Yeah.
nuts.
That's
You don't even
crazy.
see that. You don't even see that in the helmet.
Yeah, and
Huh.
my theory is they're gonna eventually fill this in the gap, and then they're gonna release a removable helmet version of younger Anakin because he in the show you do see him suiting up and he looks like he's this version. So,
Huh.
but Mike,
And-
do you still have an extra Obi-Wan Kenobi Vader? Because this was
Yep.
my okay. So this is that body, but I had to put this head on it. So I'll take that from you one day if you're looking for a buy.
I mean,
for it.
I bought an extra one because I bought the case and there were 2 in there, and someone was like, "Oh, I want that," and then I messaged him when I got it, and he never responded. So it's just been sitting here. So
Yeah, I need a Obi-Wan Kenobi Vader so I can have him holding Reva's lightsabers. You know, both because that's how it was on my shelf until I did this little miniature custom.
I know I got somewhere. I think the last Black Series Vader I got was there a retro carded one recently?
There was a episode 6 version, that one right there. Here, I'll
Yeah.
real quick.
It may be in a box somewhere. Did it come? Was it Jedi Luke too?
Yeah. The newer, this version, Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
the updated head. Yeah.
I may have that somewhere. Where'd the Luke go?
Too many toys. Too many toys.
And the thing about it, out here, I haven't brought out all my collections inside. Yeah, it's spread out over several areas. That's not what. I just haven't brought a lot of the stuff out here yet.
Mhm. Robo, did you have a hard out at 9:00 your time? You got to go?
Yeah, you got some minutes if you want to.
he's got some minutes.
What you want to
He's got some
do?
minutes.
You want to
So I
ask
did
him the
have-
standard questions?
Yep, I got
Uh-oh.
handy dandy.
That looks.
It looks like you're waving around like a tenth of drugs when you do that.
That's what it is.
I have my 2 questions ready.
Yeah, right. You're not inspiring a lot of confidence in me, buddy. There you go.
Oh, that's what
Open it up.
folded.
Well, it's probably better than me doing a scroll. What if I just?
Yeah, it's like here you.
I'm gonna buy one of those, and then next time we have a guest, I'm gonna like.
Just unfurl the scroll. That's right.
Let it roll down the floor and across the room.
Question the first.
So we do have some standard questions we ask our guests on here.
Okay.
What is your favorite Black Series figure?
Oh my god.
Yep. Hard hitting
Oh
questions.
my god. What do I have up front? The one that springs to mind right now, and I've bought more of than other figures in the past few years is Black Chrysanthemum, the Book of Boba Fett one.
Oh,
I've got one here. I've got one.
It's really good.
I've got a couple. I've got.
You know, he's on sale for $20 right now too.
I know, but free at full price.
You should give him the Gamorrean Guard axes. And
Oh, for sure. It's
I got 2797 Studios. I got their comic books.
Oh, sweet.
comic book swords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's my one big problem with that figure is he should have come with more stuff. There's just
Yeah.
Well,
I would have
At
paid
that price point.
$10 more if he'd come with like 5 or 6 accessories.
like all the stuff that the vintage collection came with.
Yeah, just a little
Yes.
bit. A
Man of culture. A man of culture.
No, I don't pay a lot of attention to the during those live streams. It's like, oh, they're talking about vintage collect. Okay, but I pick up on stuff, and it's like, oh, why did that one come with so much stuff?
So the opposite of that question, what's your least favorite Black Series figure?
Oh, which one have I put in a tub? Oh,
I hate to put you on the spot here.
HK87 is a recent one.
Yeah, it's a recent one. That's a good.
It falls over way too.
Yes, I hate that thing. Stay up, please.
The red one specifically, or the?
Yeah, because I got the red one and then didn't get any of the or the other one. Or
Yeah. There's the one that came out with Jedi Luke at the beginning of last year, and then there was the new one in the Ahsoka line that was
yeah,
red.
I skipped that one.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, and then I got the Ahsoka one specifically because it was fresh on my mind, and
Right.
yeah, it's laying on the floor somewhere.
So, what's the character you want Hasbro to make in the Black Series the most that they have not done yet? Or this could be an updated sculpt with, new modern butterflies and photoreal. And all the
A
modern-
Sherrod head.
Okay. What a pull.
Wow.
Cool.
Only because I customized Sherrod. Is it Sherrod or Sherrod or I don't know how to say it. I only know from the comics.
Beats me.
But yeah,
Beats me which version it is, since it's not like audibly
yeah.
spoken.
So I say that out loud, and I'm sure somebody will. No,
I hate that. I hate that so much. Like Leia as Boosh or Bausch or like they never say that name in the movie.
yeah, Boosh.
Well, how do you know how to pronounce it?
And hell, even Leia and Han saying is said several different ways.
Leia, Han, yeah.
Chewbacca.
Yeah. When I was at Disneyland, I saw Chewbacca. I kept saying, Mr. Baca over here. And this is that's his last name.
When I went the first time, I had a Sheev shirt.
You said Sheev.
I had an Emperor shirt on.
Yeah, you said
and, Chewbacca stopped and went like just pointed and was like, "What?" and then walked off. I thought, okay,
Smart man.
That's good.
Smart.
We had my 1-year-old nephew. It was his first birthday when we were there, and he was like a magnet for the characters, and it was like the best time for me.
Yeah,
because I wasn't just some random 40-year-old man who wanted to talk to all the characters. They were actually coming over, interacting with us because we had this baby.
yeah,
And I loved it. I was like, I want to come with this kid more often because like I got to have a conversation with Mando and Grogu, and he asked me how I keep him away from like tentacles and stuff. I'm like, you don't really. He just kind of does it. And he's like, I understand. Or like it was more interaction I've had with Mando any other time I've been in the park. And
right.
Mm-hmm.
and it's stupid because I'm like a 41-year-old guy, and like they're not there for me.
So pro
But
tip,
they kind of are. They kind of are.
Yeah. Who else is coming to see you?
Right?
Got a couple more.
Okay.
Over the years, what's your favorite innovation they've added to the Black Series? This could be butterflies, photoreal, bicep swivel on the new clone, etc.
I think really the photoreal is the obvious answer. I mean, it was lacking up until that point. We were all hoping for some kind of better paint job, and then when Legends did it, it was like, why don't they apply that to the line that is based on live action stuff?
Well,
too?
especially because right before that, they were doing that thing where they had no paint other than the eyes and the lips on any of the faces. There was like no paint on them, and they all just they looked like
awful.
In the 90s, you went to those soft focus photo glamour shots at the mall. And they have that haze. That's what it looked like. Like nothing was defined. Yeah.
Now they're for a little bit had to dull coat everything, and it has its ups and downs, I guess, as they change factors or things around. But
they didn't get the note.
It's getting better.
It is.
Yeah, it's still improving. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what really brought me back into the line was photo, because I remember I got out a little after, or like right around the time, like, you know, Rogue One, Last Jedi and all that era. Also, it was just like a space issue for the most part. Like, I didn't have my own dedicated space whenever I was living in an apartment. And so I would just be in Walmart and I'd be walking, I'd seeing these figures like, oh, these look really good now. I wonder, like, well, what happened? And then I just keep seeing, like, I would always walk into the toy aisle and see, you know, then I would see them. They're looking a lot better. Like, oh, maybe I'll get back into these. And now I'm here to stay because the figures are great.
Yeah, it's a shame about some of those figures that'll never get photoreal updates or upgrades
or like Slave Leia is probably done for, you know, Force Awakens Rey, I'm sure is going to take a long time for popularity reasons and all that. What is your favorite era to collect of Star Wars? Like OT, PT?
Yeah, it's got to be original trilogy. It's got to be. That was where I started. That's where I'll end. Probably sooner rather than later. But I like a lot of the prequel stuff, Aliens and Jedi and that kind of stuff. But you pretty much give me anything original trilogy, and I'm gonna. If I'm not buying it, I'm agonizing over it. Like, oh.
So are you gonna pre-order that Moma Dawn when it comes out?
Oh yeah. I was this close to ordering several.
Doc Ondars,
just to customize into.
I'm not. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. I know Luke did. Like, he's got a good hammerhead.
Yeah. But now we just
they are as soon as they make that, because you know how Hasbro is. You can see it. And okay, that's not going to be hammerhead. Yeah.
In a line that they don't get as much reuse as other properties at Hasbro, they got to use it when they can, and that sculpt wasn't made specifically for Doc Ondar. That was just
the first
more
one.
hammerheads out there.
Yeah. Now I'm waiting. Like, how long until Chris Stanton gets turned into the Tarful? You know?
Yeah.
Hopefully, or just random episode 3 Warriors.
Right?
Just pump them out like
pump them out, man. Give us those big chubby Wookiees. I'm down.
Yeah.
Make it a 2-pack. $50, $60 2-pack.
Oh yeah, same thing. New Astromech Bonnie, every Astromech. Give it to me. Yep. Whatever that random Grief Cargo Astromech coming out. Yep. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty. Yep. It's a new head. It's a different head that we've never gotten before. I skipped some of the other ones just because of
scale.
I'll go a long way, but I won't go that far for that small astromech body.
Yeah, we need a gold.
But the new one's gorgeous. This R2 still hasn't left my desk. It's sat here since I got it.
I have 2 of them, and this one's been on the desk.
The R5 is over there. He's in his spot, but I can't put the R2 up because I just love him so much.
Just look at this comparison. This is the new R2. And this is the old Black Series R2. The scale is just so.
Look at that.
So much improved.
For the people listening, he clearly brought up some kind of like, what is it? The Micro Squadron?
Yeah, it was the little Micro Galaxy R2. No, this is Black Series R2. What are you talking about?
You're so funny. Oh my God.
So, Robo, this next question might get a little deep. So we might get a little emotional here on the Black Series Cantina.
I'm known for deep.
Late night.
Yeah. Gotcha.
What do toys mean to you?
Oh man, toys mean not completely letting go of the feeling I've had for almost 50 years now. Trying to I'm grasping as hard as possible to not actually grow up but while on the outside appearing to be grown up to the people out in public, you know. But at the same time not caring, going through the checkout line of, no, these toys are for me. Is that that's okay now. That's
okay. Yep.
Yeah. But man, there's nothing. I mean, who wouldn't go back to your bedroom as a kid, having toys just strewn all over the floor, and you're mixing and matching? You're throwing Transformers in in Castle Grayskull, and you got Star Wars in a cardboard box because that's the Death Star. Or over here you have something laying. You're pretending that your Transformer Trax is a transforming car that you're inside and flying around and stuff. You don't want to let that go. You want a little bit of that. I mean, I know you have to adult. You have to.
I have to pay bills.
You have to work. You have to do all that stuff. But even for 10 minutes a day, an hour, if you can just sit and stare at your shelves and remember and get nostalgia and want to play or customize or change something, or just figure out how the engineering works in a figure, that's you being distracted from the stress, the trials and tribulations of your daily life. That's all anybody's looking for.
Robo's giving me chills right now. I don't know if anybody out there in the listening audience is, look at your arms and all your hairs are standing up right now.
I mean, that's why I don't understand being miserable in this. As soon as this hobby starts making me miserable for some reason,
I'm done. Yeah.
Go find something better to do. Absolutely.
No. And I'll go fishing. Even though I don't like fishing, I'll try it. Maybe it's enjoyable. I don't know. Or maybe I'll go monster trucks or something.
Something they do in Arkansas.
But this
something not as expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll just go to the races or something, hunting but this, I don't see that happening because I've been happy with this for 30 years now as an adult.
Yeah.
That's not counting the 15, 16, 17 years before I had to forsake for a little bit. But yeah, after 30 years, I think I'm pretty confident that I'll be doing this until I don't do it anymore. I don't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a distraction, something to bring a little joy in this dark, dank life.
And that's all we want to do. That's why I started.
Yeah. Great answer.
That's why I started doing YouTube videos, because I was homeless for a little bit. I was like living on friends' couches and stuff. And I would get by, I would pass my time by watching YouTube videos. I'd watch Transformers reviewers, I'd watch toy reviewers. And like, that's how I lived vicariously through these people getting stuff, because I had nothing.
Yeah,
well, I had stuff that was it was at my parents' house. It was at my parents' house all the way in Florida, and I was in California. So like, I didn't have anything really, but I still liked the stuff. So once I started getting stuff again, I wanted to share it, because I knew that there's going to be someone else out there that's going to see me like I saw the other people. Like, I wanted to give back and do that. That's why I started making videos.
Yeah. And now, like I said, I didn't want to do it in the beginning. That was part of the job. But now I love trying to figure out how to do different techniques, different film editing tricks, stuff that I never thought I could do 10 years ago. And it's all with toys. If nothing else, I'd like to share that this is a joyful hobby.
Yeah. It's fun.
You just gotta.
It's toys.
And there's so many different aspects. Like you talked about earlier, if you do carded, that's fine. If you do boxed, loose, customize, tear it up, pose, ACBA, dioramas, there's so many different things to do within this one little hobby. And if you're not having fun, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, if you're not having fun, why keep spending your hard-earned money, and having an online presence for toys? So, and then the last question, we appreciate that answer a lot. And obviously, I think we all know the answer to this one, but it is normally the last question that we ask. Black Series or Vintage Collection? I think we know what the answer is gonna be, so lay it on us.
Okay, everybody. No, I look at Vintage Collection every now and then, and I'll see, especially when they make a character that we haven't gotten in Black Series. But other than
Like
that,
the Ghost?
yeah,
The Rancor?
duh. But Black Series all the way. Like we talked about earlier.
My man.
I'm a big guy now. Want my big toys.
Mm-hmm. Were you
That's
you were a Rancor backer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I wasn't super surprised when it didn't fund either. I understood the complaints, and I gripe all day about the stretch goals, but
Sure.
yeah, I still wanted the Rancor.
I wanted the Rancor itself at 350. Like, stretch goals aside, I wanted it. I didn't care about the price of it. I just wanted the Rancor.
Yeah.
And
I was one of those guys. I'm one of those guys that feel like the stretch goals aren't extras. They're already baked into the price anyway. But if it had just been the Rancor, I probably would have been disappointed at the price, but I was still paying it. So I can't gripe. It's
I feel like if it were $50 cheaper, it would have been a lot. I think Mike said that too. It would have really helped it.
I
They
think
really
2 more
should.
hours. I think it would have funded.
Oh, that's also
2 more hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck, I think 1 more hour and it would have had it. Honestly.
Yeah.
It was booming. It was
Yeah, Unicron gets an extra however
Month.
long it got.
It got a
Yeah.
month. It got like a full other extra month.
But
that's the
Rancor
only
and
one-
Cookie Monster. Oh no.
Well, Cookie Monster though wasn't even close.
Yeah,
Cookie
but
Monster sold like 600.
I know he's wanted that so bad, and
Did he? Oh, poor guy.
And
He was one
I
of
hate to see somebody not get what they want.
him and 599 other people wanted it that badly.
Yeah, and that's it.
Well, I feel like
That
the
was it.
Rancor hurts because it was literally this close. Like, just another hour and we would have gotten there.
That day, it was like, oh,
Mhm.
and that made it worse. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Another question. It's not really on our sheet, but before we get out here, I want to ask you, for a future Black Series HasLab, what would you be interested in backing?
And that's because I'm still, it's hard not to think as a product manager. I'm not a product manager, but you do this hobby long enough, you see how they think, this ship would be too long. This ship would be too wide. This would be a shelf killer. This wouldn't be easily displayable, because Marvel really has the perfect ones of this much
Because they're all
footprint.
tall. Yeah, they're all just tall. Yeah, you can do tall.
Yeah. And Rancor was kind of like that. Maybe a second chance at that, but if it was a ship, X-Wing is so, when you think about the actual
Iconic.
scale, it's iconic and you want it.
Really
But then
big.
if you think about the size of it, it's like,
not feasible.
I can't put that anywhere.
No.
So an A-Wing is, you know what? I want mini rigs. I would go for a HasLab of all the vintage mini rigs.
If they did all the
Like,
mini rigs,
yeah.
that weird AT-AT head with like the little roller wheel thing and
The
whatnot.
little skiff front end with the little thing on it and the umbrella. But
John
no,
Bryson, right? He's a master of all that stuff.
yeah, see, I think I have his skiff, but I don't know. All the ships are so oddball shaped.
Yeah,
and
I think
huge.
Mandalorians. What is it? The N1. I think that could work.
And then they could repurpose that for some prequel stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I
See?
mean,
Look at that.
I think kind of what you were talking about earlier with things with a small footprint that are tall. ATST. I mean, I think an ATST could be
I
right
think it
now.
would work.
I did
think it could be right
printed
there.
one of those too, and that is a big cumbersome bastard.
Mhm.
Sure, but it's mostly tall.
Yeah, tall and narrow, right? You can
Yeah.
squeeze that
Plus,
in
you get
there.
into well, okay, maybe if it was plastic, it'd be a little bit lighter. But
Yeah.
even with those legs, the thing about that is balance issues. It's so
It'd have to have strong ratchets for sure.
Yeah.
They couldn't have a Sentinel problem with that.
Well, then
If you know what I mean.
People would complain about the ratchets because they were complaining about the ratchets on the Rancor. And it's like they need to hold figures in their hands so it doesn't get loose over time.
Yeah.
But I guess they just didn't.
Yeah, you can't friction hold that much weight on there.
Plus that engineering at that scale to make it chicken walk with the button behind the head. That's crazy. That'd be...
You wouldn't have that button.
What? Why not?
No.
I want to be able to.
No.
I agree. I agree.
Just
I will say,
yeah, stomp and walk.
I did want to throw in here, Robo. Whenever you were on the out of the basement live stream way back when, one of the funniest stories I have ever heard is whenever you said you were working a job a long time ago and they made you do overtime.
On the
and they said you had to do overtime. You're like, I'm not, and just walked out.
Oh, that was my last day at that.
I about died. Like that's one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. I was dying when I heard that.
And it seems like, did I go back to that job? Or did they call me back? I can't even remember, but no. That job.
I remember. Didn't you say it was like 10 hours of manual labor? And then they were like, no, everybody's staying into overtime. And you're like, I'm not. And then
my first day at a small engine manufacturing, Whirlpool. Was it Whirlpool? Or it was somewhere, but they made engines for fans and stuff. And they were heavy. They were heavy. And I'm a little guy. And I was smaller back then. And I had to take tests and pass adult education stuff to go pick up the engines off the end of the line and put them in a box. And the bigger guys, they dragged with me. They put one putting springs in it. They put one helping the painter. They put one just pulling it off the line and installing something and put it in back. And I was the one picking them up. So yeah, we got to the end of the day. We're working overtime now. I'll go find something else. Like Mike said, I've been homeless before. I can be homeless again.
Yeah. I don't ever want to be homeless again, but it's definitely an experience I had.
You're not as scared.
That's true. That's true. If I have to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody has some great work stories. I was working at Amazon. We have a warehouse. We have a couple warehouses in like a Shepherdsville, it's south of Louisville. Well, I fell asleep so they have like this big like U-boat carts where you like stack shoes on. You go stack them on the shelves of the warehouse so they can eventually get picked whenever they're ordered online. Well, there was like 45 minutes left in my shift, and I fell asleep I sat down in the little U-boat and leaned up against the door or the shelf, and it was dark up there, and I fell asleep, and I slept for like 45 minutes past my shift end. So then I walked down. I walked down and clocked out 45 minutes late, and then I ended up getting paid for it too. So,
really? They didn't even ask. It's like,
no, they didn't even. Yeah, they didn't even ask. So that was a good time. That was back in like 2015 or 2014, one of my first jobs. So, fun time.
Oh dang! Don't say that. That's when
I'm sorry.
That's when I.
Yeah, he always makes me feel super old whenever he tells these stories.
That's when I quit my metal shop job after 20 years was 2015.
I feel like we have to add a question on here, Mike. Sebastian or Hayden at the end of
no.
Oh no.
That's a new question.
Sebastian's what comes up in my head when you first ask that question.
Lame. I'm a
It
Hayden
really
guy.
I feel like it depends on when you saw Return of the Jedi. I just feel like that's what it depends on.
I saw I don't remember Star Wars in the theater. I was 2, but Empire and Jedi, I remember the theater. I remember seeing the movie, everything. So, I mean, yeah, that's Sebastian.
Yeah,
that's the only right answer.
No, it's canon.
That's
Hayden
right.
is canon. Hayden is canon.
Sebastian, baby.
You love the Ahsoka show. Hayden is in it as a ghost.
I get it.
I do like Anakin in there, but
and I understand the rationale of he gets redeemed. He's going to revert back to when he was, but still.
Well, I think So we mathed this out. He would have died in his mid to late 40s as Vader.
He would
So
look like Hayden now.
Yeah, he would look like Hayden Christensen does now. And I think that's acceptable if they make him now that guy.
But think about this. I am older than Archie Bunker was during when he was Archie Bunker. So I think in the late 70s, early 80s, old
People just look so old. People, yeah.
look old. Look super old.
Well, it's like I remember watching Star Trek and Patrick Stewart. I thought he was like 70 and he was like 30. Because he just always looks old.
Young, but
but there are people that they just always kind of look old, especially when you're younger. Everyone kind of looks old.
And getting to the age I am right now, I pick up on a lot of stuff like that because I don't know why I was looking this up the other day, but Paul Hogan, when he made Crocodile Dundee, was a year younger than I am right now. And that gives me hope for my future because that it's not all downhill from here. I could, maybe I could do something Crocodile Dundee.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alan Rickman was in his 40s when he did his first movie of Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like stories like that.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, God dang, I'm going to be that guy.
All my best days are gone.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't start until I was almost 40. So at least YouTube wise,
Right. Maybe you'll get discovered. Maybe someone will be like, that Robo guy. We need him for something. I don't know.
Maybe we can aspire to be talking about toys almost 50 years old too. That's
I probably will be.
Pretty awesome.
I'm not going to stop talking about toys.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
I'll still be complaining about the lack of a new Anakin. I'll be wanting the new Anakin from the Anakin we're getting hopefully soon. Then I'll be like, we need a 3.0 Anakin, episode 3. Where's it at?
Yeah, but you're a crazy person asking for more pipelines. That's you know what? I was going to mention this earlier. I wish the Star Wars team could do it like G.I. Joe, where they do a live stream. They're like, here's some digital reveals. Here's some actual reveals. Here's the pre-orders.
Here's the pre-orders. Yeah.
But,
the way they got it going.
But I understand. But they have a lot more leeway because they own the property and there's a lot more reuse that can be had there. So,
and I think, are there as big of leakers out there for G.I. Joe as there are for Star Wars? Because I know Yak was all over.
There's no Yak face for Star Wars that I know, for G.I. Joe that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
But for Marvel Legends, you can go a year out almost with leaks and stuff. So
yeah, that's true.
That's not entirely true. I think there is a YouTube channel, like they just leaked stuff a couple days ago about what we're gonna see soon.
Well, what
no, for G.I. Joe.
Oh, what toy line was it? Was it G.I. Joe where the guy on? No, I think it was Transformers, right? You said the guy on YouTube like was reviewing toys before it was.
Prime vs. Prime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He gets stuff straight out of the factory, though, right?
He does. Yeah, he gets stuff out of the factory. He'll get stuff before they even like announce it, and he'll have it reviewed, and we'll be like, okay, I guess.
God,
what a life!
But a lot of the leaks are just overseas store listings.
Mm-hmm.
So, you get a hold of that, you can. But if like pipelines, you show me a picture from the movie and a word, I don't remember it. I can't remember it. It doesn't. It just bounces off my head.
So you got to see the physical like action figure.
Yeah, and then I remember it for the most part. Even then, it's iffy.
It also has to be like a lot harder for you all than me because I mostly focus on Black Series. Obviously, I mean I dip my toes in Legends, and I've been getting into SH Figure Arts DBZ lately. That's like childhood for me also. So and I got into those figures, but for the most part, I'm like Black Series news. I also have a podcast and the Instagram page, TikTok, and all that. So, but I know you and Mike collect just about everything else there is to collect also.
And this many years of doing that, I can't even. It's kind of cool, to be surprised because you forgot about something, and then it shows up in the mailbox, and it's like, oh, I forgot all about this. That's awesome. But so I look forward to my later years of getting even more forgetful with this kind of stuff and falling in love with things all over again every day.
Well, you know, if a toy collector gets Alzheimer's, then everything's new.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. that's
you gotta think of it glass half full. You know, you walk in your
That's
toy room
right.
and everything's new.
That's terrible, but
whose stuff is this? This is cool. And it's like yours. Sweet.
it's yours.
Sweet.
And then your brain will click and you'll be like, damn, I did have all I remember all this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, maybe every other day you'll think.
Yeah, but when you
Yeah,
remember, it's more, and then it's like, oh, my bank account. I remember that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Take me back.
So I
Remember
guess
when I had a budget?
that went away. So before we get out of here, Robo, do you have any upcoming videos, or go ahead and plug your new socials? And I guess relatively new.
Yeah, relatively new. My YouTube channel was where I live streamed for a while, and then once I made the moves, its complete focus is on it, and it's Robo Don't Know on YouTube, on Twitter X or whatever it is, Facebook. Yeah, 2023.
The Rancor lasted longer than the budget.
But yeah, Robo Don't Know everywhere. Everything, anything. And I think the video is what I showed for I think Dark Wolf is going to be next Tuesday, and then the Masters of the Universe Filmation stuff will be Thursday.
Nice.
And then the rewind will be tomorrow.
How do you hold on to stuff for so long without opening it? I stopped doing like unboxings on like live streams because I hated waiting for a live stream to open something I really wanted to open. Like, I just want to open this. I just want to play with it.
I've gotten so used to doing that on video that that's why I have it scheduled. I was like, oh baby, you and me next Tuesday.
You got a date.
That's right. You and me Thursday. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. But yeah, because that's just part of my process. Because once I get the camera, it's just, I don't know anything. It's first impression of, going through it and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and that's the way I like doing it. But it does get kind of piled up. I have some Transformers over there and the Luke and Grogu that I got on clearance, and some other things that will eventually I'll get to the point where it's like, it's too late to review this. I'm just going to open it, mess with it, leave it right here for a while, mess with it during live streams or something.
Me and Mike are the poor people that paid full price for that Luke and Grogu.
Hey, I had to get a video out when it was relevant, okay?
Yeah.
Plus, I could write it off on my taxes, and the higher price is better for that.
True. That's true.
What was 17, 15, 14, something?
Yeah, I paid 45.
I bought 3 chrysanthemums for full price, so
There you go.
yeah, it works out.
That was bad. Yeah. I just had the one.
Mike, do you have any upcoming videos, and where can our listeners, if we have any listeners, follow you on the social?
Sure, Mike Case. That's my YouTube channel. I had a list of videos I was gonna make last week, and then I got sick, so I didn't. I'm probably gonna do my top 10 Transformers of the year bots and shots with my friend, my other Zach, my tall blonde Zach, not my you Zach. And
medium, tall, blonde Zach.
Yeah, well, he's very tall and you're very medium, but you're both Zach. Yeah. So I'm gonna do my top 10 Transformers of 2023 video. I'm probably gonna do a video on my selfie series, but other than that, I don't have anything planned. But that doesn't mean I won't make anything.
I like it.
You never know. Sometimes it's spontaneous.
True.
You can follow me on Instagram at blackseriescantina. That's the new name. Unfortunately, I don't have everybody knows my at the Star Wars Black Series got randomly deleted last year, so go follow the new one. I do have the traditional at the Star Wars Black Series on TikTok still. We're pushing, I think, 19K on that, so we'll go follow me there.
I just hit 800 followers on TikTok today, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm too old to be on TikTok, but here I am.
Can you go live on there, or is that 1,000?
I think it's
1,000.
I think it's 1,000.
And then, so go follow me on those. Hopefully I'll be making some more people like whenever I do these little unboxing videos where I make it like kind of just a quick overview of it on TikTok, and then I usually post them to Instagram also. You can support us on Patreon. We would greatly appreciate it if you are financially capable of doing so. We have a $2 general support tier, $5, which gets you the access to the video of the podcast, and the $11.38 tier, which is the Cantina band member tier, which you can join us live. We did have VIP spots, but both of those sold out, which we're thankful for that. So shout out to our 2 new VIP members, and hopefully we'll have a VIP hangout that's a Patreon exclusive video. We'll try to schedule that here soon, and then hopefully record that in the coming weeks before the end of January, if everyone's free. Leave a review if you cannot subscribe to Patreon. Another great way to support the podcast is on Apple, Spotify, wherever. Leave a review of the podcast. Let your friends know, let your other people in the collecting community know about the Black Series Cantina podcast. You can buy some merch. We have hoodies, which you see me wearing, and we have mugs, cups, pint glasses, all the cool stuff. Follow us on Twitter at TBS Cantina, and we'd really appreciate it if you joined our Facebook group, Black Series Cantina. That's some great positive communication and conversations going on in there. That's mostly where we update the podcast information if we got to record a day sooner or later. I need to remember to keep posting on Twitter, but I always forget to even open Twitter. And then if you want to email us an article or anything to go over, some people have done that before. The email is blackseriescantina@gmail.com. But other than that, we appreciate you listening. Robo, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You've been on our list for a long time, and it's an honor to meet you.
Oh no, it's been my pleasure. Talking toys. Yeah, y'all are awesome.
Appreciate that, and we'll be back in 2 weeks for your next episode of Black Series Cantina. So
that's right.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
Later.
All right.